I'm Rodalyn Owusu-Anson. I've started a small-scale business, so I want to be.
Okay. Yes.
Good morning. I'm Martha Etiahene. I'm a revenue officer with Ghana Revenue Authority, and also I'm into import and export. With export, I do grains and nuts, and then shea butter. And with imports, I deal in general groceries like kidswear and women's bags and wraps. Thank you.
Thank you. Joyce, I saw you come, so please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is Joyce Twackley. I work with Blue Skies. I do product development, and then I do catering alongside too.
Yeah. Okay, so turn around here.
Hello, my name is Nana Kwache, and I'm a computing science graduate.
My name is Oyetunibu Akodia. I manage Nest Computers. We are into selling of office equipment, and I'm here to add to my knowledge.
Okay, so do we talk about our business too as well? I think it's important to do that. Okay, so my name again is Enoch Yeboy Jepong. I'm a mechanical engineer, and I'm also a business consultant. I have been focused on sustainability, helping businesses grow and focus on green and environment. And I'm the director also at the Renewable Energy Association of Ghana, amongst other things.
All right, so my name is Mary Tobinosei, and I run a consultant firm, a development consultant firm. I do research, I do trainings, I facilitate conferences like this, and we are also into climate change, we are into smart agriculture, and recently I've added on construction. All right, so thank you very much. It's good to know who is here, and it's amazing the number of businesses that are here, and I'm very excited about the many people who have one job but are doing side businesses, and we will learn a lot more. At this point, we want to call on, okay, Daniel wants to, so this will be the last person who is introducing herself, and then all the others will do it later, okay? Sorry, ma'am, we're happy to have you here. Please tell us who you are, what business you do, and what you want to achieve from this conference.
Okay, my name is Mrs. Metal Nunu. I'm a caterer and into hospitality generally. I want to find out new, areas, of business ventures.
Wonderful. No, she's introduced herself. All right. So thank you very much. At this point, we would call upon our brother Daniel Jijenyo Tuakli to give us the welcome address. He is the brain behind this whole conference. Let's receive him with a hand.
Praise the Lord. I want you to turn to your friend and welcome the person. Just welcome. Welcome the person. Smile at the person. All right. So on behalf of the leadership of the Business Guild, PIWC Atomic, it is my greatest pleasure to welcome you all to participate in this first edition of the Business Guild Sustainability Conference that we are holding this year. This program we have planned is what we have found as a real need for businessmen and women in this present situation or this economic situation which we are in. And I hope it is going to be one of the most impactful experiences in your lives. What I ask of you is to please keep an open mind and enjoy each part of the function in the spirit of which it has been conceived, with a constructive dialogue about the role of leadership in entrepreneurship, how one can develop an entrepreneurial mindset, and how you and I can sustain our business both in good times and in bad times. It has been about 2 years now since this guild was inaugurated in the district. Despite the COVID-19 situations we experienced, the Business Guild was able to organize virtual programs to educate its members as well as to connect with others for business opportunities. This is another segment of the mission and mandate of the Guild. It is our pleasure to welcome our special speakers for this program. We found them to be among the best and the most seasoned personalities to address this cherished audience. When it comes to leadership and business acumen, we find our speakers to be individuals who have insight into how businesses and leadership can make visions a reality. An audience as astute as this requires speakers with merit and experience. Thus, we are proud to say that our speakers for this program are people that everyone looks up to. Our gathering has assumed a special meaning and an elevated profile due to your presence. So I wish to thank you for coming. I warmly welcome all of you who have made an effort to come here today. May the Lord bless us all.
Thank you for welcoming us, our brother Daniel. Now, we are going straight into business. And I know you have a notepad and you have a pen, and we really need to pay attention. Write down your questions. There will be time for questions. And if you have a contribution, we will give you time to share so that we all learn from each other. There will be a keynote address by our dear pastor, but we know that he has multiple functions. There's a naming ceremony going on up there, so he would join us later to give us the keynote address. So at this point, we will go straight into business. We're going to look at the role of leadership in entrepreneurial journey. The role of leadership in entrepreneurial journey. And we have someone who is a leader in the entrepreneurial, arena sector. And he is a lecturer, a professor in a university of Ghana, and he has been in business for many, many, many years. If I want to talk about this speaker, time will not permit us. So, and I know he doesn't want too much being said about him. So, I have the singular honor to welcome our own elder, Professor Ernest Kodia. Please receive him with a hand. Yes, can we have the light off so we can see that? All right. Right. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I said good morning. I hope we are all doing well. Okay, shall we pray? Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you this morning. We bless you in Jesus' name. We commit ourselves into your hands, even as we have gathered before you. We want to hear from you. Help us to learn from you. In the name of Jesus, we are praying. Amen. First of all, I want to thank God Almighty for this opportunity to share with His children. And I want to also thank the leadership of the Business Guild for finding me worthy to be part of the speakers. Sometimes when you are sharing platforms with some people, it becomes very difficult. When I came, I was telling our elder that in the area of business, when you compare Elder Sedaje Ba with Shruba Kodia is a baby. And in the area of academia, if you compare me with Prof. Ade, the same thing. But I know some of the elder, he has inspired some of us. Many, I will also be sitting there and I'll be listening to him. He has inspired us. He has been a role model. So when he was asked to talk about business sustainability, I said, yeah, he's the right person to talk about it. I can't see why you want to talk about that when Eda is there. So you distributed it very well. So Eda, thank you. You have inspired us, and Prof is in. So I'm happy that. Prof, I would say that they have sandwiched me between two big men. And I was saying that, let me say that. And I was saying that when it comes to academia, you are way ahead, Professor Emeritus. And let us see me, I will explain to you who a Professor Emeritus is. If you see me, I will explain to you. And then when it comes to business, I said, Eda Sharp Wafo is also there. Amen. So this morning, I'm talking on the topic, the role of leadership in the entrepreneurial journey. The role of leadership in the entrepreneurial journey. When we talk about entrepreneurial journey, what do we mean by that? It's the ability to start a new business or having the potential to create many businesses in order to gain profit. Entrepreneurial journey is the ability to start a new business or having the potential to create many businesses in order to gain profit. So starting to the end, that's the journey. At some time, it might be that you have a business already, but you want to introduce a new one or a new product. It is the creation of life-changing solutions. You know, if you're an entrepreneur, you have to create a solution. What people are looking for are solutions. They have problems, so if you can identify and find a solution, you have money. People cannot take their children far away from your community to school because traffic and crisis. So you see, there's a need. You create a school within your community, you provide a solution. So all that we do as businesses is provide solution. I know you need a computer to do your business, so I provide for you. That's a solution. I know you want a one-stop shop where once you enter, you have everything. Then you can enter Shaba shop and then you get it. So you see, all that we are talking about here is to find solutions to people's problems. Hallelujah. And also being innovative. What you are doing should be different from others. There are so many, whatever you are doing, there are so many that people are doing the same thing. Talk about schools, talk about tourism, talk about everything that you are doing. Others are there. How different are you? If you are innovative and do something different, able to differentiate yourself from others, you become unique and people want to come to you. Hallelujah. But there's one thing about, when I talk about entrepreneurial journey, when you start from beginning to end, most of the time, you don't have any limitation. Why? Because you don't have a boss. No limitation. You decide to do whatever you want to do. No limitations. No boss. No, whatever you want to do, you do it. Hallelujah. Because if you have started your business, at the beginning, you might not even be able to afford board. If the business goes to a certain level, you can put a board in place, and the board will check you. But most of us here, I can say that we might not have boss at all. So it means that you are in charge of your own destiny. So if you are not very careful, this is where you find yourself in trouble. Because you don't have a boss. You do whatever you want. You can decide to go to work anytime you want. And you can go and meet your boss and say, why are you coming at this time? Why are you late? that question will be things of the past. That's why if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to be disciplined. You don't have a boss. You decide to spend your money the way you want it. You sell your things or you get payment, 10,000, you can decide to spend it today. Nobody will ask you any question. But if you are working for me and you don't spend the money well, you'll be in trouble. But you are a boss. That's why throughout the journey, discipline is very, very, very important. In fact, if you are thinking of that I want to be a boss, that nobody can control me, that's why I want to go into entrepreneurship. You are failed from the beginning. Because you notice that if you want to do it well, you cannot be a boss. If you want a big office where you sit at the backstage, and then you have everything around, your computer, everything, big desk, beautiful air condition, and you are sitting there, and people will just bring you a report, and you check in, you are failed. Entrepreneurship. You are always at the front stage. When you grow to a certain level, and you're able to put structures in place, then you can enjoy that. But most of the time, you are the receptionist, you are the salesperson, you are the accountant, you are the human resource, everything revolves around you. And if you say, oh, I want to go into entrepreneurship, I want to start the journey because I want to have peace of mind so that I can sleep and get up around 10 o'clock and get to work at 2 or 11 or 12 or even 9. You are failed from the beginning. You notice that when you start your own business, you should be the first to be there. You carry the vision. Others might not understand it, so you should be the first to be there. So you see, most people fail because there's freedom of being an entrepreneur. No limitations. You get the money, you spend the way you want it, you decide to go to work, whatever you want to do, no limitation. That's why discipline is very, very important as an entrepreneur. But continue that for some time, and you see your business begin to go down. So you have the freedom, you can do whatever you want to do, nobody can limit you. I'll discipline, I'll make sure you do the right thing. I put you in line. But if you are the boss, who is going to control you? So let's know that. Now, you say the role of leadership in entrepreneurial journey. So what is leadership? There are a number of definitions. I'm just picking one so that we can go fast. It's the action of leading people in an organization towards achieving goals. They do this by influencing employee behavior in several ways. So you are leading people to achieve goals. So you see, if you are owner of business, you cannot do it alone. You need people to help you. You have to lead them to achieve goals. And that comes to mind, I mean that there's something what we call goal. We'll talk about that later. You have to lead them to achieve the goals. Now, I always say that if you're a leader, one of the things that is your responsibility, or you need to know, what I call is to lead with integrity. Before people must have integrity. Otherwise, once they encounter you, they will not come to you again. So the currency we use in the area of business is integrity, and I'll talk more about that. So if you want to lead and be successful, you must be a woman or a man of integrity. You see, most of us say, oh, I want to start, 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 I want to start. You might not have the capital to start, or all the capital to start your business. But what you need, to me, is integrity. If you are somebody that people can trust, that people can believe. They know that when you say yes, it's yes. It's easy to get people to even partner you throughout the journey. But if you are smart, in quote, and you don't have integrity, you will struggle to go through the process. In Nehemiah 7, verse 2, I read, it said, I put in charge of Jerusalem my brother Hanani, along with Hananiah, the commander of the citadel, because he was a man of integrity and feared God more than most people do. So he was put in charge because he was a man of integrity and he feared God more than any other person. And we are Christians. So if you are Christian and we follow our Christian principles, we must have integrity more than all the people that we are competing with. And that alone will attract people to us. Amen. Integrity is choosing courage over comfort. Choosing what is right over what is fun, fast or easy. Choosing to practice our values rather than simply professing them. So, choosing what is right over what is fast. Oh, you've gone to this person. Oh, I need this to go and sell. Goods worth 5,000. I'll go and pay you next month. You say, oh, okay. And then you get paid. So I want to be fast. You want to turn around. And you spend that money. That's the end. Because you don't have integrity. I had a young guy that we were supporting in 2 ways. We decided, okay, when we need something and we don't have it, we'll call him to bring us some. And then when he need, we'll also give it to some. And then he was doing well. At the point you give him something, then you want him to go and pay, he'll be doing like this. Oh, tomorrow, next week. And we cut the relationship. Now he's out there, he's gone down. So, integrity in business is very, very important. And I'll give you practical examples as we move along. Choosing what is right over what is fun or fast or easy. Choosing to practice our values rather than simply professing them. So the values, and us here, we are Christians. And in fact, the whole Christianity is about integrity. But what we come and do on Sunday is not the Christianity. What we go and practice when pastor is not there, when the elder is not there, when the deaconesses are not there, when members are not there, what you do depends whether you are a man of integrity or not. It's very easy to look good when people are there. I know I'm an elder. So if you are all around, and I have my big man, prophet there, elders there, do you think I'll misbehave? I want to be like an angel. But if nobody is there, how I conduct myself determines whether I'm a man of integrity or not. So integrity is a currency in business. The supreme quality of leadership is unquestionable integrity. Without it, no real success is possible. So without integrity, there will not be success. Whether you are a football coach, or you own a school, or you are in tourism, or you are into IT, you are a software developer, if integrity is not there, forget it. Because if you develop software and you send me a proposal, you tell me all the selling point, what do you do for me? I'll do this and that and that. I'm not a technical person. I say, okay, thank you. At the end, you deliver something different. That will not solve my problem. What happens in future, I'll come to you again. I'll not recommend you to other people. So your integrity, because you're not a man of integrity, you have killed your own business. Hallelujah. I remember when I started my business, and those of you who have listened to me before, I've shared this over and over and over. I started my business with no money at all. Not even a cedi. If I remember, I had 150 Ghana, today 1.5 million. to the wife. That's all that I have. But because I have been in that industry, I knew many people that I could go to and take goods and go and sell and go and make money. And one of them was Mrs. Yeboah and husband. So I'll go there and other places. All that I do, that okay, I go around, go to maybe Prof. Are there, Prof? I have this. Okay, I need some. Then I go and pick, and then go and sell, and then I go and pay back. When we meet Mrs. Yeboah, ask her. I'll not default. Once I get the payment, I go and pay. Once I get it, I go and pay. If for some reason it's delaying, I get them involved. Let them know what's going on. And they will sympathize with you. I never try to be smart. So small. No, 150 Ghana cedis. And in fact, even to start, I put my proposal together and I targeted a man and I discussed the proposal and I managed to convince him to join the business as a partner. But when he decided the thing was not going on well, business, I'll talk about that. He decided to exit. He left me alone. So I'll go there, have a number of companies. Then small, I decided to do my first import. So I travel outside the country. And I think those I have gotten some money. I think the first time I went out, I had about 18,000 Ghana cedis or so. Yeah, 18,000 Ghana. It was almost the same as dollar. 18. And then I went to buy few things, and I did air shipment. Then I went a second time. The company that I bought from, I went to them again. And after I bought the things, there was a difference of $500 that I didn't have money for. So when they did the question, they said, can I come and pay you next time? I said, no. I don't know you. I said, why can't you try me with $500? What can $500 do? Then he laughed. I said, okay. So he gave me credit of $500. He doesn't know my country. He doesn't know where I come from. So I came to Ghana. And when I came to Ghana, the first I sent the $500 to the man. Then I went again. This time, 1,000. When I came, I sent the money. To cut a long story short, now I have suppliers, mainly 2 of them, outside the country. All that I need to do is to put my list together. And they will send to me. Because they know I'll pay. They will load a 40-footer container of computer accessories. And just imagine the value if you are doing 40-footer on a computer accessories. They are the value. They will send to me in Ghana, not a peswa. But once I get money, quickly I go and pay. Once I get money, I go and pay. And because of that, Nest Computers, I have been in business. We have been in business for over 20 years now. We have never used bank loan. Why? Because we have people who send the goods to us. So after trade credit, that's what I use. But to benefit from that, you should be a woman or a man of integrity. You go to other shops, you are young man, you are coming up. You want to do, so he doesn't care. I mean, the market is big. So you go there, Edda, and then he give you maybe 10, well, maybe 1,000, you pay. Next time I go 2,000, you pay. Do you think when you go for 3,000, he will not give it to you? He will give it to you. But we are smart in our minds. And then sometimes, because as entrepreneurs, because we have the freedom, the more we see money, the first thing to do is to buy big things. If you can afford, why not? If you afford, why not? But We are targeting either the first iPhone 13. I want to be the first to get the iPhone 14. I want to be the first to get this. I want to be the first to get that. I want to be the first. We are in IT. Sometimes when we sit there and see some people, the addiction is in computers. So, new Spectra has come, 18,000, you can't buy. The next level, he can't 25, you can't buy. And I'm telling you, they are addicted to computers. Some are addicted to phones. And some, when they get addicted to cars. You see, I believe that if you can afford, but be careful, don't compare yourself to others. So because you have your freedom, the first thing you get, okay, I want to buy a good car so that people know that I'm blessed. That money that you are used to buy a car, is it your money? Is it something, is it a backup somewhere that you're used to buy it? That will not affect. That will praise the Lord. We will all come and praise the Lord. But if you owe somebody and you're going to use that money to buy a car, there's a problem. I was listening to one of my colleagues, Professor Mahmoud, in marketing department. He's a Muslim, and we were trying to. I said he owe credit union, University of Ghana. He owe credit union. He has to pay because he want to go to Mecca. Now, I what's the relation between paying that money and Mecca? I said, oh, in Islam, if you owe somebody, you can't go to Mecca. And I was surprised. So you owe somebody, you borrow from somebody, you've not paid, and then next day you are going to Mecca. No, you can't do that. So pay all your debts. Then you can go to Mecca. That's Muslims. So how could you be owing somebody and then you are buying big things? Meanwhile, the person that you are owing is still using a iPhone 11 or 6. And you are using, he saw you buy iPhone 13. He saw you buy iPhone 13 and now 14. And you owe the person. Now, what you know as a leader is this: creating new business and money is not easy, but you must persevere. Everybody who have started a business will tell you that if you are starting, it's very, very, very difficult. But you must persevere. It's tough, but once you persevere, you will succeed. Sometimes you start the business, if you are not careful, you quit because maybe for the first few months, you cannot even pay yourself. No, sir, nothing. And then you see yourself, you are working with somebody in an institution, and now you look at yourself, and look at him, the person is still getting income, he's bought some small car, but you are not able to do anything. Persevere. Because you've started, things will get better as you move along. So you have to persevere. Don't throw in the towel. Keep on moving. And as time goes on, maybe you hear from my speakers. People are the most important resource every organization can have as a leader throughout the journey. The people we work with are the most important resource. They are the most important resource. And therefore, you have to be very careful how you handle them. You have to respect them because your inability to manage them will lead to your failure. So as a manager, you must respect people you work with. And as I said, they are only helping you to achieve your goal, your business, your vision. So you should always be at the center of it. Don't be bossy, because they will mess you up. You have to be involved in everything that goes on every day. Otherwise, they will mess you up. You have to have your vision and let them understand the vision that you carry. Where are you going? Because sometimes, as a businessman, my wife will tell that when things become tough, so that when you see the dollar going up, going up, the city depreciating, and then you owe in dollars. My wife say that be calm, because if you are not careful, if the people who are working with you see the things are not going well, they will run away from you. So like pastors do here, they come, they show strong face. If you see pastor crying, the whole church is finished. So as a leader, you have to let your team have confidence in you. Oh, it shall be well. Otherwise, before they will start writing application, and you say, Jack, they've all left you. So you have to be very careful on that. Is there 11 with my 5 minutes? But I thought I had 45 minutes. Oh. The program he sent to me. Okay, I'll end. Okay. And then you have to motivate your employees. Sometimes as businesses, we start very small. You started with somebody, the person has been with you, and then you buy your car, you go to your next car, the person is in trotro. If you can afford, at least when you buy the new one, this person started with you, you can even hand the old one to the person. Let them know that you think about them. When they call you that, oh boss, today I'm not well, I cannot come to work, you have to call and find out how they are doing. Don't stay and then until you see him. No, call the person. How are you doing? Is everything okay? What the doctor say? This, that. It's very important. They know that, okay, you also think about them. Because sometimes you get started, you might not have financial motivations. In fact, you cannot even buy a car. How are you going to buy some for somebody? But if you show concern to those that you are working with, that you care about them, they are bereaved, as a manager, go and support them. Show concern. And once you show concern, they have confidence in you, they also kill themselves for you. But if everything is about you and 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 you alone, especially the accountants, they see all the money that you are taking, but they don't get some. They see, oh, okay, give me petty cash of 20,000, put in your pocket, and that's it's finished. You cannot get petty cash of 10,000, it's finished. Meanwhile, you are paying him 1,000 Ghana cedis. Meanwhile, you can take petty cash 20,000 3 times in a month. So let's think about and then last but one, because I'm summarizing, ensure to manage the workflow of your organization. As a company, we depend on each other to work. The sales, the accounts, the HR, if your company is big, we are all linked together. As a leader, you have to ensure that they are all performing their roles. Because where we are, if the salespeople are not able to sell, accountant has nothing to calculate. And if they sell and accountant is not able to capture in the system, we cannot even know who owe us. And if the accountant don't also follow up and get the payment, we cannot also order goods in. And if you cannot order goods in, those in sale cannot get goods to sell. You see, and then so you have to make sure that each unit is performing according to plan. Never leave your employees to set their own goals and their own targets. Tell them what they are supposed to do. Agree with them. and ensure that it's achieved. Every month by 10th of this, I must get the bank reconciliation. Then you get it and review it. But if you want to allow them to do whatever they want, remember, you are the vision bearer. And they might not be able to do as you expect from them. And finally, provide the tools that they need to work. Provide the tools that they need to work. You don't expect them to achieve A or B without providing the necessary instruments or tools to develop it. You expect your sales team to go out, no company car, no transport. You are paid the person 500 a month, 1,000 a month, 2,000 a month. Let's say 2,000 a month. No transport, no transport money, no money for Uber, nothing. But you have to deliver. You have to bring sales. How is it going to happen? So if you want your team to be able to deliver, make sure you provide all the tools needed to deliver the job. Thank you. So maybe the question will bring other things for me to address.
So you can stay with me. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much, Prof. Before we go into the Q&As, I just need to make a few health break announcements. First of which is the washrooms. Please note that there are washrooms in the building for you to use when you require. Also note that we have a table that is set at the back for coffee, for Milo, for tea, for some fruits. What we want to do is to ensure that we have an interactive session and also to maximize on our time. So you can actually go in there for it and come back to sit at your table, okay, so that we don't have a lot of queues at the back. That said, please also note that the questions that we want to take, we have limited time, so we would ask that you please make it crisp so we can exactly tackle as many questions as possible. So with that, the floor is open for questions, and you can please raise your hand. I'll walk to you with the mic. I've seen one there. You introduce yourself, and then you go with it. So I'm coming over.
Thank you very much. Please, my name is Mawenyega Makafibutu. Prof, please, I know you are in academia. I want to find out from you how you are able to combine academia with business, because I know that being in academia is a bit stressful. Thank you.
So I'm taking the second, academia and business.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Charles Akenyako. I want to know, would you advise a starter to sell his most valuable asset to start a business? And also, how will you handle your creditors if genuinely, like you said, by integrity, when you take, you pay? If genuinely you are not able to pay, because probably your customers have also disappointed you, how do you handle your creditors at that moment? Thank you.
Take the two. Yes, please go ahead. And then we'll continue.
Okay, so, Maoyega, how am I combining academic work with this? Academic work is indeed stressful, but I'm combining. This is what's happening. After I've set up the company and managed the company for some time, and I got married, my wife joined me to manage the business. So I trained her, and then I handed over the company to her. And I left for academia. So now when we talk about all the front stage, how they sell, how they call it, everything, she's managing it. What I do, I handle the import. So I'll organize the import, clearing, all those, I handle that aspect. But day to day, my wife manages that for me. Okay. Come again. Yeah, it depends how, you see, sometimes it takes two to tango. It depends, sometimes do you trust your wife enough to hand the over company to her? Because I left Ghana for my PhD. I spent 3 years in UK, and she managed a company. And then the company, this in accounts, she signs as a loan. It's either to sign. So how many men can do that? That's another question. Either to sign. And how many women, when they get the opportunity, will not mess the company up? That's another question. But for my wife, she signs it. Almost all the church, she signs it. And in fact, when you talk about the limitation that I was talking about, she's my limitation. She's my limitation. So if you can trust and hand over to her wife, she can do it. And then, can you say the most valuable asset to start a business? I remember many years ago, I gave a talk at ATTC, and our deaconess, Philomena Sam, came to me. She told me that, Hedda, you know, I have a car, and I have a business idea. Can I sell the car and start it? I said, you can sell it. And she sold the car. And she started her school. So, what's the asset? What if you say the most valuable asset, what is that? Is it gold? Is it, what is it? Is it house? Okay. Land. The house you live in. I'll not advise you to go and start business. The house you live in. I'll not advise you that. But if you have a land, you can sell it and use the money as capital. Because it's better than when you are starting, you cannot get a loan from a bank. That one, forget it. It won't happen. But when you come to a certain level, the bank will be chasing you. They will bring you a proposal. But when you're starting, no bank will give you a loan. That I will tell you. So, if you have an asset, you can sell your iPhone 14 and get about 12,000 and start something. You can sell your house, you can sell your car, you can sell everything and start. And once you start and you're doing well, remember, business is risk, right? You take the risk, but don't use the house that you live in to start a business. That one I will not advise you.
So I'm taking 2 more questions and we go out. So there's one hand here. Okay.
Also, how do you manage your creditors? Okay, I think I even mentioned that. It's communication. You buy from him, you pay all the time, and for some reason you've not got your payment. Get the person involved. Let them know what is going on. You can even share the contact of the person. Be open as early as possible. And generally, if I know that you have not been paid, what would the person do? Well, we have a client. We have dealt with this person for a very long time. Then she picked some good supply to ECG, the one deep. What is the name of it? The one who the company took over from ECG, PDS. He supplied to PDS. We knew he was supplied to PDS, and there was a change. Up to now, they've not paid him. But we are still giving him goods. He has locked our 200,000 Ghana cedis for like 2 years or more. But we are still giving him goods because we know that's what the integrity. He's a genuine guy. We know. So if you are a man with integrity, something happened, people will understand you. Some of my supplier will call me and find, oh, how is the dollar affecting, how is the CD, how is it affecting your business? And then I'll give them more. And sometimes do get a point. So when I'm not sending them more, they understand that it's difficult to get more dollars. And once I was supplied, oh, we pray that this your dollar issue will be resolved so that all of us can be free. Because we can't like partners. You are partners. Do you get a point? But what you want to avoid, that you want to be smart, that one will not help you.
Right, thank you very much. So 2 final questions and we move to the next side. Please note that you can still go for snacks.
Thank you. My name is Martha Echiahene. I have 2 questions. My first question is, You mentioned that you have to let your team know your vision, understand your vision, so that you can pursue it together. So I want to find out, how would you achieve this and still protect your trade secret? That's my question number one. Question number two, I want to find out if you can give us examples for small businesses on how we can motivate our team. Because financial, because you mentioned that
Thank you very much.
Please, mine is a contribution. So I want to take it from the point where Prof, you talked about letting your employees share your vision, but don't, you have to limit how they bring their vision to yours. So there's this topic in human resource. Then we talk about performance management and appraisal. Yes, it's just a suggestion. Maybe I might not be correct. Yes. So it's asked that allow the people around you who you work with to add up to how you bring up, let's say, a product. So if we want to create this standing camera, maybe my idea might help in some way. Yes. And then in as much as you allow the employee to bring the idea on board, it also makes the person feel valued. Yes. So from the point that the person feels valued, it makes the person input more of his knowledge. Now, even though we are talking about the employee inputting his knowledge and everything, you, the boss, have to know what makes the business right, so that in case the employee is bringing something that is overboard or something that will not help with bringing up the vision of the company, you will be able to salvage that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Prof, you can answer the rest.
Okay. So you see, many people are working with KFC. They are managers in Ghana. They understand the vision, core value of KFC, but they don't know the recipe for the chicken. So I have a vision. I want to become the best IT company in the next 10 years. And to do that, I have to do A, B, C, D. If you don't do internal marketing for your people to understand that, you cannot achieve it. And therefore, I don't say, oh, okay, come. This is where I buy from. This is what I do. This is what, that's not vision. Vision, where do you want to be? Your objective, what do you want to do to achieve that vision? Make sure your employees understand that very, very well. And if they understand it, it helps you. You can delegate, it will help you. And then, how do you motivate non-financial motivation? We employed a lady just about less than a year now. And he was in the office. She wasn't feeling well, so we rushed her to the hospital. And then we took her, and then they transferred her to Kolebu. In the evening, I called her. I couldn't reach her. The next morning, I called her. The voice was very tiny. And I spoke to her. Then the next day, I called her. How are you doing? So I said, I'm fine. This, that, that's okay. When you are done with everything, bring the bills. We'll pay for you. And she sent me a message. She could not believe that a manager would be so concerned about his employee. I called her several times. How is she doing? Is everything okay? Has he done this? Has he done that? Has he done that? And then I say, you should bring the bills. The other young guy in my office, just about 32 years, said, oh, he has a BP. I said, what BP? And I told him, my young man, I tell you too, BP is not good for you. So I told him, you have to do exercise, do like this, do physical. You can start 15 minutes, go to 30 minutes, this, that. And I'll call to find out whether he started or not. And now he's doing it. This small yesterday that you think about them, isn't it? And then when they also help you through hard times and things begin to get well, also appreciate them financially. And your business will go very far. Thank you. Have I answered all your questions? Yes.
So thank you very much. So here with us has been the CEO and founder of Next Computers, who himself has been advising and consulting many businesses in the private sector, in the public sector, and also religious organizations in Ghana. Prof has been an elder and is an elder of the Church of Pentecost, and was one time our immediate past district secretary. To a large extent, he's also been a faculty member at the Department of Marketing and Entrepreneurship at the University of Ghana Business School, and currently is the coordinator for the Executive Weekend Program, MBA program at that department. He obtained his PhD, Doctor of Philosophy, from the London Metropolitan University, UK, and his teaching and research interests include social marketing, health marketing, services marketing, strategic marketing, non-profit marketing, entrepreneurship education, and political marketing, with publications in international peer-reviewed journals. We've been privileged to have Professor Ernest Yao Twinibu-Akodua leading us on the session, The Role of Leadership in Entrepreneurial Journey. Prof.
Thank you very much. When the introduction is done at the end, it's better because no expectation are finished. But when they give you before you start, then you are in trouble. I have to go and teach. That's why I had to put it. I would have loved to listen to Prof and Eda. After Prof, I've listened to him. Eda, I've listened to him several times, so I've got my share already. I know you also get your share. Thank you very much. I have to run away.
Please put your hands together for him. So to make it also quite interesting for as many who want to interact, we just have this 5 minutes break. Like we said earlier, people should have already gone for some coffee and tea. If you haven't, please use this 5 minutes. And please note, 5 minutes is 5 minutes. By my watch, it is 10:42. So we are coming back in less than 5 minutes because 5 minutes have started. So please do that shortly. Grab something, and we'll come back to continue the session.
Thank you very much. And I think that we need to acknowledge Mrs. Twinibu-Akodua. Can we see her? Here she is, yes. And she's a member of the church, and we are very proud of you, ma'am. God bless you. Right, so it's break time. Please interact with somebody, get to know what they do, and take somebody's number and network. It's very important.
Right, so we'll have some music in the background as we go for the quick break.
Yes, so for the two.
We really are on time. business, how to sustain your business. So business sustainability. And this person we are talking about has been in charge of a lot of things, and he's already walking up to stage. So please help me welcome Honorable Sensei J Bar to take it up. My hometown man, Kweuni, Papa. Let me bring you your mic.
Thank God for the opportunity to be with you today. Honestly, I should have been in the village today. I always try to rush to the village to look at the businesses over there and also to think about politics. But for the sake of this program, I'm here with you today. I believe God will give us the opportunity to be able to share something that will bless us and help us to grow our businesses. I've done business for over 40 years now. I started business when I was about 21 years. So I've seen it all. And I'm here to share with you to help us to understand how we can sustain our businesses. Before you can sustain a business, you should have a business. So I want to take it that everybody here has a business. If you don't have a business, then I want to give you opportunity to think about how to start a business. Sometimes when people want to start a business, the first thing they are looking for is money. The first thing is not money. It's about to have an idea of what you want to do. And to have an idea, Elder was talking about solutions. Look around you. The fields are white. The harvest is there. There are a lot of things that we can do that will help us to make money. Whoever thought that collecting cabbages, cleaning the city, will make somebody one of the richest, if not the richest in the country? Zoom Lion. First, when somebody talks about clearing those things, they'll say, why should I go and become a Zoom Lion and do this? He found a need and found a solution, and that is what has made him what he is today. Look around you. Wherever you are staying, I was telling somebody that you say you want to do something. Thank you. You want to do a business or you want to have a business and you don't know what to do. You have a car and you are driving around and you are telling me you don't know what to do. Look around your area. The person lives around Mungwa. I say, what is the population there? Just go and sell that car, buy a toilet roll machine. You don't need more than $12,000 or $10,000 to start a project. And if you are supposed to supply toilet roll to the community alone, it's something everybody uses it every day. You are a millionaire within a year or two. So why don't then, look at somebody with a degree, not going to manufacture or assemble cars, but to work on toilet rolls. He will think there's something wrong. There is nothing wrong. You have a vision. You want to do something. You've got to start from somewhere. When I left school, I had a vision that Shaba would one day be somebody, but I didn't know how to start. No money, no capital. I had to work hard to get 5,000 cedis, which is 50 pesos today. That is the foundation of Shaba. I started with my church members, Church of Pentecost. Somebody asked me, why are you here? I was a full gospel president some time ago, so I know all the Duncan Williams, Ajina Saris, and all. When they come and preach in Koko, they were staying in my house. There are a lot of people in Pentecost. Why don't you join and be a support to some of the charismatic churches? Then I said, Pentecost made me who I am today. When I was starting, some of our elders were selling caustic soda, soda ash, oil. That was the time of the revolution. Don't Touch Me soap started. And with 5,000 cedis, which is 50 pesos today, that is how Shaba started. If I'm telling you what the things I went through, and now you see me, you say, Shaba, Honorable Shaba. They are the Honorable Cross account. We started doing Don't Touch Me soap. I wake up 4 a.m. and split the firewood myself, set up the fire, and do the don't touch me. Within 6 months, I could raise 23,000 to start my first shop, selling ladies' wear, braziers, pinties, and all those things. I remember one friend came to Kofi, Obemoton Madros, Susubakumi. I had a vision. I wanted to do something. I didn't have the capital. I started from somewhere. Now I'm getting there. Even though I'm not there, I can decide to retire today. Hallelujah. So I was selling those things. Somebody will ask you, why were you not selling men wear? How often do you buy dresses? How often? But the ladies will change every day. I remember when I come to Accra, I buy a lot of ladies' things, change the colors. When I go, these ones are nice, these are the latest. And the people will be rushing. The next time I'll introduce another thing. Gradually, I was making money. By 3-4 years' time, the name Shaba was out there. Started small. Look around. There are a lot of things. At that time, it wasn't that I wanted to do Don't Touch Me soap. I didn't have what it takes. But then I knew that some church members will give me credit on caustic soda. They'll give me credit on oil. They'll give me credit on soda ash and all these things for me to start. I was taking credit. The integrity elder was talking about. They gave me the things. I'll go and produce, go and sell, and come and pay. I didn't have capital. I used the people's capital without interest. You can do something. I just want you to get the mindset that you can do something. Look around your environment. There are a lot of things that we are looking for solutions. If you are able to do that, and one thing is that, let me tell you, you are privileged. Almost everybody here has a first degree or something. I started with an ordinary certificate, very green. I decided to do all this thing, decided to have a degree, the master's, all this because of politics. I'm telling you. Because one guy told me that, yeah, can lawyer, yes, way out here, or to turn your men, or politics. Because I was and I started. But you are privileged. Please, you are privileged. Don't just abuse it. Take advantage and get something to do. Have a vision. If you have a vision, you have to plan towards it. The short term, the medium term, and the long term. In the short term, what are you doing? In the short term, I was doing Don't Touch Me for money to start something. When I got money and I had a lot of money from ladies' wear and other things, I shifted into doing chainsaw machines and parts. And I became the biggest importer of chainsaw machines in Ghana. From there, I went to electricals, I went to this and this and that, then I've come this far. If I tell you what is ahead of me now, you'll be shocked. But it started from somewhere. Having a vision and starting a business is like having the V shape. The base is small. As you go up, it widens. And that is how business grows. And when you have set up the business, then we are talking about how you can sustain the business. Sustaining a business simply means that you are able to keep the business at good and bad times. The business will stand. I have a lot of definitions here. I was speaking from research and other things. I want to talk about the realities on the ground. Because they have given me 40 minutes to share 40 years business experience. And I don't want to go into whatever is here. Sustaining a business is to be able to keep the business at good and bad times. And before you can do that, you are supposed to understand that the business you want to sustain is a different entity from the personality. When I started my business, I made sure that the name Shaba will come out, and Shaba is the business. So Shaba is different from Setajeba. Until recently, nobody knew who was Setajeba. They knew the name Shaba. So if Shaba is different from Setajeba, Shaba is an employee of Setajeba. So from day one, I started receiving salary. And I live within my salary. When I know the salary is not enough, then it's not enough for your staff who are working with you. It's as simple like that. So whenever I want to increase my salary, I have to increase that of my staff. When I got married at the age of 25, and I was privileged to have a beautiful young lady at 21. And I was surprised that she decided to marry me because I wasn't that handsome at then. So she was also put on salary. So both of us were on salary, and I'm not surprised. I'm still used to eating coffee brookman. Every afternoon, no matter what you give me, I want to eat that plantain and granite because that is what I've been used to. I kept to the salary. We had a very big supermarket. When I go there, I want to drink a bottle of Coke. I buy and pay and ask for my change. If my wife wants to take a tin of milk, she has to pay for it. Why am I saying that? The leader should set an example. When you go, you pick and drink. Your accountant will pick and drink. Marketing person will pick and drink. You collapse the business. And because they know Seth will come and pay and collect his change, everybody who wants to drink Coke will pay for it. And interestingly, when I buy, I take my balance. Whether it's 5 cedis or 2 cedis, I take it. What am I trying to come out with? You need to be disciplined yourself for your people to be disciplined. You, the leader, need to be disciplined in terms of the way you use money. Elder was talking about impress. I don't sign impress in Shaba. No. I would never and have never done that. Everything is signed for a purpose. If I'm going to the village and I need money, they write it because when I go, I will work. We have 5 factories in Nkoko. So when I go there, I go and work. Then I do my politics. So they'll give me the fuel and the needed allowances for the work. When by God's grace, I get a lot of, I sit on a couple of balls. When I get my board allowances and other things, I use them to enjoy myself by doing politics. I will not use the company money for politics. My company is different from Seta J-Bar. So if you have a company, try to identify the fact that the company is a different entity altogether, and you are number one employee of the company. If you mess up, the rest will mess up. Hello? So you try and set yourself salaries. That is the most difficult part of it. For you to know that you own this company 100%. Then at the end of the month, they give you salary. Today you come, you make some businesses, you get about 30, 40,000. Everything has to go to the bank. And I got used to it, so I'm not worried, whatever it is, because I know at the end of it, it's still Shaba. And Shaba is Setajeba. So you need to have that discipline. Don't think that any money that comes in is the money you want to start using. You have failed from the beginning. Set yourself a good and decent salary. Pay yourself and live within the salary. That is number one. Number two is, if you want to sustain the business, discipline yourself with time. It's recently now, I'm on retirement, so I don't go to work at 8. I come to work at 8. If you come 8:05, you are late. Because of that, everybody will want to come on time. Religiously, I go to work early. So if you are disciplined and you're able to discipline yourself with time, your workers will also come on time. The next thing is, there are a lot of things I've put down here. Let me forget about. If you are disciplining yourself about time, then the attitude towards work, your attitude, the way you deal with your customers. If you don't take care and you treat my customer rudely or roughly, you go home. Because the customers are your asset. Without the customers, nobody knows you. Because they bring you the money. So I don't pray with my customers. And when you treat them nicely, they become loyal to you. I remember I had a customer in Takoradi, and one day he came to me and said, "Oh, sir, I'm going to have my wedding. I need a car. I then had brand new C-Class. I told him I'll send a car to you." And someone said, what? Why do you do this? And I said, don't worry, I'll send a car to him. That car alone was the trick. The guy used the car. After that, he brought the car. When he wants to buy anything, he comes to Accra. He wants to come to me. People were complaining, oh, Shaba, his things are expensive. Then he will tell them that, but the quality is good. The guy became loyal because of that car he used for his wedding. Show interest in the lives of your customers. Very important. Respect them. Sometimes, just have a drink with them. There was a time I was dealing in chainsaw machines, spare parts and other things. Some guys came from the Brown Half region to buy chainsaw machines. Then, I didn't have the machine, but I knew I could get a machine from Kumasi. So, I bought them some Coke. They drank. I tried to make them feel good. Then I said, they should wait. I'll get the machines for them. So, right in time, they will go and bring the people that we have a man who can supply everything. And that is what we were doing. Your customers are key. To sustain your business, Elder was talking about your employees. I'm involved in a couple of things. I do construction. I do trading. I'm into hospitality. What else? I do quite a couple of things. Now I'm doing consultancy, which is the biggest of all. That brings the best of monies. Because if you are retiring to become a consultant. Your customers, the way you treat them, value them as part of your family. When these COVID challenges started, a friend came and said, Shaba, but let them go home. Why should you pay them why they are not there? Then I said, if you are married and there are challenges, you don't divorce your wife. All of them are part of my family. There were difficult times. So I called them to a meeting and said, we'll find a way to resolve the issues. Gradually, we'll be there. The salary might delay, but most of you are staying where we are paying. But understand it. I never laid even one of my staff off. It was a big challenge and difficulty. But we retained them and made sure. That's my CEO. I'm now retired. My boy is taking over. Madam was talking about succession plan. He's not the MD. He does everything. And I'm happy for that. I stay behind to monitor to make sure by 3-4 years' time, then I'll start staying home and doing more of politics. So I was talking about, so I make the staff feel that they are part of the family and they are part of us. In these critical times, one of my staff had a kidney problem. It was quite challenging. A lot of money was getting into it. He gets in there, they say it's a heart problem, is this, is that. So I knew some people in India. I invited them, they came down to examine him, and they said they had to do transplant. Wow. These difficult times, money is difficult to come by. The guy brought the mother, and they tested the mother was ready to do it. And they have to go to India with the cost and everything. My son asked me, so Daddy, how are you going to do it? I said, God will provide. And true to the word, I was there and they came and said, Honorable, we've gotten the ticket, so we want to take the lead. So when we get there, the money should be transferred there. And the money was not there, just not there. And God, in his own way, somebody called me, he needed some items, he wanted to pay some dollars, and he came and paid the money. Almost 3-4 months now, the man paid the money. The money we wanted to give it to them to go to India for the operation, I gave the money to them. The people have still not come for the items they wanted to buy. You see God's intervention. Because I wanted to do it. There was no money at that particular moment. But because the heart wants to help, God provided. Think about the people you are working with and make them part and parcel of it. Let me tell you, one time construction, I went to the construction site and the guys were saying, boss, Bronya, wait there, do to dry my own. And I'm so okay. I bought them, and I'm a 12.6 and the so. Now, do you know one thing? I went there, do you know the concrete pan? That is what the washing, put some blocks with firewood, and we're cooking the thing in that concrete pan. Ah. So I just sat down, talking to them. They were making noise. They were happy. When they finished, then I said, I want to taste it. I just picked one, and that was all. Hey, boss, Abedinya Didiwaha. That was all. There was one guy who is amongst them. Any evil thing that will happen there, he'll come and tell me. He said, boss, they stole some bags of cement. They gave me this, but this is the man who bought it. So when I come there, I know what has happened. Then I'll confront them. They don't know who was telling me. But the boy they know who is the worst amongst them was my closest friend. Because I ate with them that day. You see what these simple things can do. So from then, nobody will steal again because they think the boss has some juju. He will get to know. It was the relationship the people were reporting to me. Recently, I went to Nkoko, the factory, and they said some boy has resigned. So I called him. Then I said, boss, I have to tell you the truth. I can't stop it. He says, I smoke the weed, and I can't stop it. And because of that, when I come, everybody is insulting me. That is why I resigned. That's all. Is that all? He said, yes. Okay, you don't worry. I'll see how to handle it. But why don't you let's try together to find a solution? He said, boss, it's difficult. I started long ago. So I started counseling him. He hasn't stopped yet, but I know the boy will stop. Because anytime I get to Nkoko, I call him, he will come. Then I've made him a friend, and I've started counseling him to find a way to get out of that. He sees it as a challenge, but it's difficult for him to come out of it. Please, let's see the way we treat them. Let them be part and parcel of it. And as we go on, they will be able to help us to build a vision. The next thing is that you need knowledge about the business as you grow. I told you I started with ordinary certificate. But along the line, I had to do a lot of courses. I have to train and help myself to be able to stand the test of time. Once I was invited with Dr. Yamson of Unilever, former Unilever, to join the Commonwealth Business Council. When I got the letter, very young man in my early 30s, and looking at Dr. Yamson, then I just showed the letter to a friend of mine and said, I've been invited to join the Business Council. He said, Kofi, now wait, how there? Bro, for you. Wait. So there's a friend in UK, Professor Tando. Then I call him and say, Prof, I've been invited for this. People are saying, this is not O-level, so me too, I want to go to school. He said, Seth, Obako School, I'll pay for you. He paid for me to start with Open University. I went there. We go there thrice, 3 days in a year. It's a long distance course. Then they were discussing a topic. Then everybody was looking at one angle. I don't know how happened. I raised my hand and I said, I don't believe in what they are saying. Then he asked me to explain. When I explained the way I understand it and how it works in my country, he looked at me and said, he's right. If I'm right, then all of them are wrong. Then they started clapping. Then at lunchtime, he came to me and asked me, what do you do? Then I said, well, I'm a businessman in Ghana. How many people do I employ? I said, 586 people. Why are you here? I want a certificate. He said, certificate for what? Then I said, in my country, if you don't have certificate, they don't respect you. So I want certificate. I said, young man, don't waste your time. I'm the professor. I've done business twice. They failed. Then I said, what happened? He told me, I said, wow, You shouldn't have stopped the business. You should have done A, B, C, D. He said he had a shop in the area. They came to build a big shop over there, and because of that, he had to close it. So I said, no. You have loyal people. Then the indigenous people, what they need, your people, the area was full of Indians. The things that the Indians will be buying are not from the shopping mall. So keep those things and raise the prices small, and the milk and the other things that they will get from the shop, sell at par with them. And when the people get to know the milk, sugar, other things, the price are the same as yours, they will stick to you. Whilst they are sticking to you, you begin to increase the prices gradually, and your business would have stood at that time. He said, wow, I never thought of that. So when we returned to class, he said, the rare professor is here. So from there, everybody within the group was referring things to me. What I'm trying to say is that develop yourself along the line. Don't just sit down with the small knowledge you have. I developed myself. Other than that, I wouldn't have been to where I got to. I was the president of Ghana Chamber of Commerce. I became the president of the whole Africa private sector. I had the privilege to address the United Nations in the U.S. on the African Industrialization Day. That day, a typical Pentecost man, I did not sleep because I was scared. So I said, when I go to my hotel, I look around, wonderful hotel. Then I picked the blanket and put it on the floor and said, God, I want to humble myself before you. So don't let me be disgraced. From village in the eastern region, not to Accra, to U.S., at the United Nations. So I slept on the floor that night and prayed. By the time I realized, I woke up around 8 o'clock, 8 a.m. And I had to rush, pick my suit and everything, run to the place. There was a lot of pressure, but there's one thing. I had prepared myself. God gave me the favor, and I went through. What I'm saying is that as you go along, don't just keep it as it is. Prepare yourself and know that where you want to be, you will be there. The medium term and the long term, from the beginning, what do you want to do in the medium term? And in the long term, where do you want to be? That is how it should be. So whilst you are getting the money and you are building the business, you know you are moving forward. So, but if you don't plan and have the short term, the medium term, and the long term, as the money comes, you use them the way you want. You buy cars the way you want to buy cars. But if you have a plan, you buy cars according to the plan, the needs of the business. Some of us made some mistakes along the line. That is why we can talk about that. When I was getting married at the age of 25, I didn't have a car. I remember a prominent coal man who has been giving his car for people for wedding. I talked to him. He said, oh, don't worry, Kofi, come for the car. The day of the wedding, I sent some people for the car. He said, oh, Pentecost, why are you using the car, man, the car wedding can turn for my end. So the guy came to me with a message. Then I asked them to go and bring a taxi. And my mother was worried. For me, at that time, all I wanted was the blessing for me to have a wife, not about the fanfare. So they brought a taxi. Then the same friend of mine who asked me to try the ladies' panties for him to buy some for me came for the wedding. He's Osiada's brother, Akabut. We have been childhood friends from Krife and other things. He came and said, Kofi, then take my car and give me the taxi. That is how I got a car to take me to the church. So when I got there, one elder said, Kofi, now, I didn't know how many Benz. And the money Benz in for Bademra. That is how I got a car for my wedding. 2 years after, because maybe I didn't get a car for my wedding, when I was 27, I had 7 private cars that I didn't have use for them. That is why we need to plan. My time is up. That is why we need to plan. If you don't plan, you do things anyhowly. Whatever comes to your mind, and then you do it. That shouldn't be. The next thing is that, oh my God, I have to finish in 10 minutes, so I'm going to wrap up. That is how it started. So if you have a plan that every year you do this, you do that. Then having the plan, when the business is growing, you have to put structures in place. The fact that you started alone doesn't mean that you can finish alone. You need to get maybe an HR to manage the people. You need some of my staff, I don't know them. I meet them, maybe, oh, boss, because I was having branches all over the country. So how do I know them? You need an HR. You need an accountant. You need people, the right people to put in place to help you manage. And you need a board to ask you to break. If you don't take care, whilst the business is growing, anything that people bring to you, you think is business. Not all that glitter is gold. If you don't take care, you mess up along the line. So you need to have a plan of action that this is what we want to do this year. From this year, we'll go to this. Then, whilst you are doing that, you are checking to make sure that your cash flow and everything is right. If you don't take care and you mess up with your cash flow, the whole business will go down. So please, have a planning, have the proper structures, put the right people in place, and reward them adequately. And they will take it to the next level for you. Now, I'm trying to make sure I'll exit. And whilst I'm exiting, I make sure I train the one who is taking over to be able to take over convincingly. The problem we have, or the Kwaus, the problem we have is that this my nephew will take over from me. But we don't prepare them. We don't train them. That is why most of the core businesses collapse after the first person who set up the business. There is a need for you to introduce the successor into the business. Let the person have interest in that business. Let them know that, yes, this is what I want to do. I want to take it up. I have a hotel, Ramada Coco Beach. I'm selling it. God said, told me that, Daddy, we are not interested. Period. If they are not interested, at this stage, I'm over 60 now. Just that I look very handsome. At this age, what is it that will be running up and down like that? They are not interested. I'll sell it. And I'm selling. If you want to buy, I'll sell to you. But it's still not the best because there are challenges and difficulties there. So you need to prepare the one, if you want to sustain the business, who will take over from you. Any meeting, I try to put him there. I remember there was a time I was going to discuss bank loan. They asked me to bring somebody. By then he was in university, I think first year or so. Then I called him to come. I went with him. Then the MD asked me, how, Shaba? Why? Then I said, sir, he's my son. I want him to know I'm following. If anything, he will have to take over and pay. Then he looked at me and said, you have taught me a lesson. And I said, sir, he is my son. If I bring any other person, he's the one I'm preparing to take over. And I tell you, it worked. Now, the only thing I sign alone is my personal check. My personal accounts is only my salary, or when I go for board meeting, they put it in, then I spend. He signs the company checks with the mother. And I'm not worried about that, because I know how he has been brought up. He will not mess up with a pessoa. So you prepare, if you want to sustain the business, prepare the people who are going to take over from you. Growth comes with a lot of challenges. Growth, it comes with a lot of challenges and difficulties. It doesn't mean that if your business will be sustained, you don't have difficulties and challenges. But if you've gone through the mill over the period, the small challenges and difficulties that you solve along the line is the same way God will give you the strength and energy to solve the difficult ones. I want to run up by saying that you need the God factor also in it. The God factor is very important. And the God factor is not about reading Bibles at work. I don't read my Bible at work. You need to know when to have your quiet time. When you start reading your Bible at work, and you go and see a staff working lotto at work, you can't punish him. And when I see you reading Bible at work time, I'll punish you. It doesn't mean I'm not a Christian. You have to do things right, so let them know what you have to do. There is time for your quiet time. If your break time you want to use to read your Bible, but if 9 o'clock you have to be working and I come and you are just blowing tongues because you are a Pentecost member, you have failed. That is not the place for that. The God factor is key and very important because that gives you the favor before men and things are done easily. Anytime I go anywhere and I want something, God grants me the favor. Not because I am intelligent or I know what to talk about, but I see it as a favor of God. So when you go through the Bible, the word of God says that it's not how hard you work, how strong, but it's the favor that gives wealth. So whilst you are doing all these things, don't forget about the fact that you are a Christian and you need the favor of the Lord and his intervention to make things work. And as you do that, I know the good Lord will bless you and make a way for you to sustain the business. God bless you for my 40 minutes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think he deserves a better clap. Thank you very much. Honorable Shaba. Yes, you can. Yes. So he can sit and yet respond to your questions. We have time for a few questions and then contributions before we get the next presentation. So, yes, there's a lady at the back there.
Thank you. 10 points. Wonderful.
Hello?
Annie Pumei. Elder, thank you very much for your contributions. It has helped a lot. There's this business that you have started at a time that there's no competition. And it's like you are the unique person starting the business. Now it's gotten to our turn. This business that you want to do, there's so much competition. You have done your branding, rebranding and everything, but the chunk of the business is just not going. What do you do to have that advantage over your competitors?
Good question. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Mary Frimpong. As you said, you've involved your children into your business. Please, I want to know at what age did you involve them into it? And what if your children are not interested in your company? They have their own vision, they have their own aspiration. May I know how you'll be able to convince them to join your business? Thank you.
All right, so let's get it.
Thank you. Let me start from the second one. I started them when they were at JSS. Secondary school, when you come, you work for Shaba, I give you allowances. So they were coming, they will work because of the allowance. When they were in the university on vacations, you come and work. And you know one thing, I started them from the floor. If you go there now, officially, Junior is the CEO, but he sits at the floor, even though his office is up there. So you start from the scratch and you let them know how the business is. And they will know that it is good, it is rewarding, and they will love to take it. If they don't see your business is rewarding and they will enjoy doing it and it will help them, they won't do it. But I let them know that it's profitable. I ask them to work. When I come, I import things. Then I give them certain formula. Work and do this. And this is the margin. Anything we import, we don't do less than 50%. So they say, wow. I say, do it this way. Then they do it. So they know that it is very rewarding. Why would they stop? So naturally, they are all in love with the business. I have 4 kids, 2 girls, 2 boys. The big girl is the one for the reason I did the hotel. But ladies, when the man decided to marry her and take her to the US, I didn't have a say. If I have my own way, she should have been here. And they love the business, and I know one day they'll come back into business. So it's the way you start with them. Introduce them into it. Get along with them. I started going to bank and other meetings with my son. I take him along to go and sit, to listen. Whether he understands or not, I go with him. And now, last week, was it? No, about 2 weeks ago, they invited me for a meeting, so I asked him to go. Then one body said, "Hey, Shaba, your guy is tough." And I'm saying, "Oh, he's tougher than me." He said, "Wow." I said, "Yes." Because along the line, he attends the meetings with me, he listens to me, and whatever, the way I do it is the way he does things. If you look at the way he's doing the styles and the way he talks, it's like me. So you train them and get them involved from the scratch. Madam, how do you get ahead of your competitors? It's the way you treat your customers. I was dealing with a woman, and I was one of their biggest distributors. Some people went there to tell him that Shaba might have done to them. Because when we started VAT, they consigned all their stocks to Shaba, that they don't know how the VAT was going to do, so I should handle it and pay them. And I got all the stocks. That was the first time introduction of VAT. And after a while, they suspended VAT. I had all the goods. I sold and made a lot of money. Anything I asked them, they will give to me. Then he told the person, the MD of the C woman said, "I trust Shaba more than Bank of Ghana." Why? If you give me things, I will sell and pay the things. It's the profit that is for me. So I prefer to use people's money rather than borrowing money or using my money. The best way to make money is use the system and use people's money. If I can credit from you and go and sell and make a profit, what is the essence of giving you money and go and pay interest on the money? Whilst I can have free interest on the goods you are giving me. And that is business. So one, the way you treat your customers will let them know that you are number one if it comes to something. The second thing is that they should know who you are and what you are made of. If they know who you are, they will regard you that respect and treat you accordingly. Sometimes we just allow ourselves and do things anyhowly, so they will treat us like that. I always make sure that I tell my customers, I'll not sell an inferior product to you. So if you come and I'm expensive, the mindset is that Shaba sells quality things. It could be the same things, but for the fact that I've created some name and they know Shaba sells quality things, they'll buy. And true to it, when you buy the goods, they will not go bad because the favor and the God's factor I'm talking about is also there. So you'll be ahead of your competitors if you have that God factor and you know how to deal with your customers and you know how to let them be part of you. Let them be your friend. I said they were like part of me. I gave my car to somebody for wedding, not for a fee. And that alone, the customer got attached to me. Thank you. Have I answered? Yes, madam.
So my question is, in the past, my name is Amma H.R. Taylor. So in the past, our system, I'm looking at our economy, so petroleum, electricity, and all the other things were fairly stabilized. So then you could make your medium-term plans, you could make your long-term plans, but now, by the day, things are just increasing exponentially. I'm asking, how am I able to stay competitive in a fast-paced environment and not lose my clients and not lose my business? Because in as much as I plan ahead, there is nothing so certain for me to bank on that, okay, so petroleum prices are going to be stabilized for this, so if I'm using electricity or petrol for my production, then I can plan that maybe I use X amount of electricity or that. So how do I, as a business owner, sustain my business in such an environment? Because by the time somebody will place, let me give an example. Somebody will place an order with me, and then I have to import. So I maybe I win the.
Let me make it simple for you.
Right.
Price it in dollars, and as the day go by, you change by the exchange rate. We peg this today. A dollar is about 9.9 something, so I peg my rate at 10.5. So anything I'm selling now, you come 10.5, but no credit because of what is happening now. Now you can't do credit. If you do credit, you lose your money.
That's okay, but then how do I mean, to hats and fascinators, when you're talking about small scale businesses, somebody who sells, like everyday goods in the community and all of that, how am I supposed to?
It's not advisable to do dollar business. What you have to do is that you buy locally in cities, you sell in cities. So when you go, they sell to you 10 cities, you sell 12 cities or 13 cities. But if you are doing import, your prices should be based in dollars. Never change it into cities. I change my price every week. I remember we're selling something, I change the price. Then they start shouting, oh, that. I say, this is the price we are selling. Then I sat them down and said, now, the price has been increased from the source. Where we are buying from, there's $30 difference. $30 difference is now 300 Ghana cedis. Apart from that, we're paying D2 of 2,000, fleet of 2,800 per container. Now, container fleet from China is 8,000. It's not about the cost of the goods, the fleet alone. Yeah. So if you add it to it, and when you come, the duty is cost, insurance, and fleet. So the same item you were bringing here, a container will cost you about 15,000. Now it's over 25,000. So you look at that and hedge this CD and price your things and sell. Because if you don't take care, you sell, you go, you can't buy the same quantity.
Yes. And that is when you have bought the goods and then they are in country. But if you go tender at a certain point, price point, and then you import.
You are talking about tendering. Going for tender.
Yes.
Don't make a mistake these days. I'm sorry.
Because
if you make a mistake and you go for tender in cities, you cannot deliver.
No, even on the dollar.
Yes. On the dollar, you try to say that.
Okay.
I'm buying this thing for $10. Fleet and other things are $5. My margin is $5. So I have $20. You peg it in dollar, $20. Okay. That is it. So you still make your money. So if the dollar goes to 20 cedis, you are still selling in dollars.
Thank you very much. So we have the last question for this session.
Okay. My name is Rodalino Wiswanson. I want to know how you manage different visions. You were into Don't Touch Me, so selling of panties and braziers. How did you manage this?
You see?
Please hold on. Let's get a second question first. Sorry. That's one more. Yeah.
Yes, my name is Kwesi Apia Vediako. I'm a contractor and also into the construction business. Now, my construction that I do with private and government contracts. You are a politician and also a businessman. You tender contracts in government business. You start with the business or you start with the contract and the government is not paying.
I have my account, they have not been paid, so you go ahead.
And now, because you put more resources on the government contract and they are not paying, it becomes very difficult for you to even sustain your business. How do you go about it when such situations happen? Thank you.
Okay. So the first question was how...
Multiple businesses.
Multiple businesses, how did you manage that?
Thank God, some of the businesses propelled me to have capital to do what I'm doing now. So there were stages when the then government decided to allow the importation of essential goods. I stopped the Don't Touch Me soap. But by then it had given me enough capital to do the shop, and I was into chainsaw, and I started other businesses. So it's not all the business that starts gets to the end. They help you to fashion the medium-term vision. So that is how it started. But when I got over it, I started to do the other things. I got into construction because when I started traveling, people were not having confidence in sending money home for their parents or their relatives to build. So I discussed with them, if you pay 30% of the cost, I'll build for you. By the time I roof, you give me another 30%. When I hand over the keys, you pay 40%. That introduced me to construction, and I made a lot of money out of that. Because if I'm going out to buy goods, I know I have money outside there to collect. So if about 5, 6 people I'm building for, they give me money, I use that to import. Once I bring the goods in and I'm building, the margins were good enough to do so many things. So I was getting money on the construction, I was getting money on the imports, and I was doing that consistently until I decided also to go into Rose. Rose is an area very challenging, but the margins are good. Other than that, I have a certificate that has not been paid over a year. So it's not easy. Talk to them. And sometimes press the right buttons. And if they pay you, as much as you are doing this in these hard times, be careful to get something that will give you constant money to live on. If you want to depend on the road alone, you'll be disgraced not because you are not doing well, but if you are not paid, you can't even take care of your family. So have a second business that will help you. Apparently, we do mineral water. We have a capacity to do about 5,000 sachets a day. And we can do bottles. Now we can do about 12,000 a week capacity. But the sachet water is the one I used to do things, everything. It's good money. Go and do it. You get net of about 30% margin. It's good. Then you can use it to do anything you want to do. I told my MP that I'm coming back to unseat you with sachet water. He said, "Oh, Honorable, why do you do that?" I said, "Then come and talk to me because I'll come." You see, so get a second business you can do, use for other things, and the main business will be the one you stick to it to develop yourself to grow the business. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable, you have started with this already. There are a few questions here. Someone wants to know the other businesses you do. You've just spoken about construction, sachet water. We want to know, what are the other businesses you do right now?
We are into assembling of electric and gas cookers. We are into nails manufacturing. We do nails. We do aluminium bowls, aluminium pounds. Yeah, I want the money. I'm a typical poor man. We are into water. We are into fruit juices. What else do you want to know?
And then somebody says that you said after 2 years after your marriage, you had 7 cars. Were they private or were they
private? Private. It was like a young man, you didn't have car for your wedding, and by God's grace, you have money. That is why I'm talking about self-discipline in terms of paying yourself salaries and planning on what to do. If I had not planned now, I would have bought one of the latest cars around. But I will not be allowed to buy because I still have a car. But when it gets to the 4 years, I'll get it. So it's planning.
Right. So let's give Honorable a hand. Thank you very much. It's been very, very, very insightful. But shall we be on our feet? I want us to do something. Let's demonstrate it. Please be on your feet. Please, I humbly request, let's have an energizer. Bring a chair. All right, we all know the song, I will make you fishers of men, right? So if you are a female and you hear a word starting with F, you sit. And at the time you are sitting, the males are standing. And if you are a male, you sit at the word that starts with men, M. So let's demonstrate it. I will make you fishers of men, fishers of... No, Okay, so the F, I sit, the M, let's start it again. I will make you fishers of men, fishers of men, fishers of men. Okay, we can all now do it. Let's start it. And let's sing and start it. Ready? Go. I will make you fishers of men, fishers of men, fishers of men. I will make you fishers of men if you follow me. If you follow me, if you follow me, hallelujah, I will make you fishers of men, fishers of men, fishers of men. I will make you fishers of men if you follow me. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now we see those who are men, women here, you know. Right. So at this stage, we are going to call the Professor Emeritus. He doesn't want me to say much about him, but our dear Prof does not need introduction. Let's receive him with a hand. That's Professor Ade.
Why do you think that I stood when all of you were going up and down? Can anybody give me a reason? Age? No, I'm 74 December, but by God's grace, I'm as strong as I was 25. So, therefore, that is not the problem. Sometimes, in order to make business, you go counterclockwise. You go, sometimes you flow, sometimes, but it's a matter of the wisdom to decide which way you are going to go. I mean, it was counterclockwise when a woman was selling women's panties. Totally counterclockwise. And but you know that some women will go there and go and buy it from you rather than from other women. Totally. So look at it from that perspective. I decided that he should come before me because there were two businessmen and, you know, Professor Wayemre. And so when they finish, you just go over their notes and then you finish. You save your energy. So what I'm going to spend my 10 minutes to highlight some of the things they have said, because oftentimes people forget whilst it should be seen as a whole. I think that the highlight of Professor Chinubua's statement is that, which is very un-Ghanaian, even among Christians, is integrity. And Shaba also mentioned it. When people trust you, you are in for a good business. When you make one mistake and you don't come clean with it, we are not perfect. You are not going to have a sustainable business. You can have, most Ghanaians have business for a short time, but to have it sustainable, you must be trusted. It's quite interesting that this idea, I think of Shaba's one, there are a few others I will. The issue of separating yourself from your business. The first case in company law, not that I'm a lawyer, but I'm a chartered company secretary, so therefore, when it comes to company areas, I know as much law as a lawyer, except I don't know about divorce. So, because I'm not going to divorce. It's Solomon versus Solomon, whereby the corner shop owner, Mr. Solomon, the judgment was that he cannot be held responsible for
the corner shop Solomon because they are separate. And the discipline of it. For me, I don't mind how much he pays himself, provided he's paid and he doesn't touch anything. If you are going to have a business to be trusted by everybody, the bankers, the customers, and other things, integrity. The second is that your business is separate from you. I am not a businessman in the sense, but I'm a social entrepreneur. We have, for example, how many of you have heard about Ghana Christian International High School? How many? The rest don't matter. Please, can you go out? By God's grace, probably it is the leading private school in Ghana. And we are the cheapest among our class. I mean, monkeys fight by sizes. We are talking about, we are in the class of SOS, Lincoln, GIS, and the average one charges about $12,500. The latest one, we are charging about only the equivalent of $4,000 because it's a social enterprise. That school is not for the poor people, but we want to target the middle class and also the upper one, so that among the next generation, there will be Christians. So that is the purpose of that school. There's another one from my village, which they pay only $1,500. It's a day school. And that is for a different purpose. That is to make sure that where we come from are evangelized. And we are now having about 60 people from 12 villages qualifying year after year for university and higher education, 100%. Last year, we were the best WASI result. From WASI, the school was the best WASI result in the whole of Ghana. No failure. Only one student got a 6 in mathematics, I think, and 2 students got 5 in English. Everybody is, and that is what God has given us. In fact, 2 of them just graduated with MasterCard scholarship at Ashasi University Engineering. So the purpose is separate. But it's a big school. It's about our turnover, small, about not as big as Shaba's, about 40 million cedis a year. But it is separate from Stephen Ade. I get only 3 things from it. I don't sign a check. When they are young men, I'm paid my salary. They give me a car and a petrol. And what they didn't know, they were going in for old people. They take care of our health. And I think that now they think that if they had doubled my salary without the health, they would have been better off. But that is it. People call me, Stephen Ade, we want you to your school. I said, no. Just last week or 2 weeks ago, Honorable Freddie Bray called and says, I think a grandchild, Stephen, I want him to come to your school. I said, Freddie, all that you have to do is put the child in the car and go to the school. Anyway, he said, no, I'm not there. If you go, the child will be given admission or not, irrespective of me. If he doesn't pass, he doesn't go in. If he passes, he will go in. So, I remember one of my friends, my child went to the school, I'm sure because, you help. I said, that's not, it's a lie. You are going to make the child think wrongly. In fact, I went to check the child. He went in because he passed. So go and tell my grandchild that he went in on his own score. I didn't even know when he went for the examination. So, but it's important that he mentioned it for us to separate ourselves from the business. Another takeaway, which the 2 of them, how to start small and at a certain point doing everything, and don't, in business, it is money. It is not the status. The status will come once you make the plenty of money. That will be okay. But a lot of young people want to start big. Some young people, a lot of mentees come to me. One wanted a business, you know. This was a friend of mine, another professor, and the father had died, so he more or less had become like a god uncle. He wants a business, that's the business plan. You know, his salary is 5,000 cedis a month. This is about 4 years ago. I said, is that a businessman? You want to start a business with 5,000 cedis as managing director? Forget it. And so I think that it should be a lesson to be learned. How many points did Elder Ajeba, you know, the two of them, one comes from 5 miles from my mother's village, and one is Makunta. So I'm in good business. But now that I know that there's money there, we have to talk. Akunta, because a year. Unknown to us, his late sister was the closest friend of my family in London. We lived together and everything else. And so, anyway, so how many points did he make? 11? Okay, I caught 10, so it's very good for all of you. Good. Mine is very, very easy, because I knew that when they finished talking, mine is finished. He said that mine is, you know, having a business mindset. Is there anybody here who still hasn't got a business mindset? There must be something wrong with you. I mean, one day I saw it, I said, no, I will not. So let me tell you, as professors, we make a lot of notes, but I'm going to my last page. Because why should I waste? That is, you know, business mindset, once you don't catch it, no matter what Stephen Adair does, wow. But I have a few things which I will just go through within the 10 minutes, and then we can end the time. This is one of the good things to become an old professor. You can deliver your lecture in 5 minutes or 8 hours. So you make the people decide how long you have to say. Because you can talk on one subject for 1 hour, and you can talk about 30 subjects in 5 minutes. So, number one is always, if you are going, he mentioned both of them, you must have a vision and smell the cheese far away. And many people don't have long-term vision, so they can endure short-term ones. You know, if you have a long-term vision, let us be honest, Pastor, close your eyes, because I don't want to see the results so that you don't go to them. So Pastor is putting his head down here. How many people here, apart from Shaba, are millionaires? If you are a millionaire, have 1, 2, 3, okay, 4, okay? No. I'm not asking those who want to be millionaires. I'd forgotten that I was in the Church of Pentecost. No. In other words, if today we want you to, within 1 week, of course, take some time, to get 1 million, you can get it. CDs are Ghanaians. That's what I want. Not you have business. We are talking about, for example, we are not talking about the ones you are using to making, but you are net worth. Yes, you take it even in business, so that makes it easy. How many millionaires? Let me see. 1. You see. Okay. You know, I have started a club called the Millionaires Club, and I want every one of you to join. And so get all their names for me. Do you know how easy it is to be a CD millionaire? If you put 100 Ghana cedis aside every month in a mutual fund, and it yields 17.5%, you become a millionaire in 30 years. So a young man of 20 can become a millionaire at 50. If you do 325 years, if you do 520 years, if you do 990 a month, it is 15 years. And if you do 3,114, it is 10 years. But the most actually, all that I'm saying, Mr. Mabino, you went to class 1, you were not taught well. It's just compound interest I'm using. But the question is this: my Millionaires Club have now about 60 or so people in it. I want them to have a vision, and you must have it in your business where you want to get to, and you smell the cheese ahead of that. It's quite important. It's a matter of setting your mind. This morning in my household devotion, we're looking at, just coincidentally, that's where in the daily power we have reached, about Romans 12, 1 and 2. Transforming your mind. You know, the Church of Pentecost has come a long way, because I've known the Church of Pentecost since it was born. And when it was born, you know, if you are getting properly educated, you are of the devil. If you go for business, you know, you are just, you know, blessed are the poor in spirit. God didn't say that blessed are the poor in pocket. But you know, come along, but it's a need for us to have the vision. The second is that you have to have a passion. Commit to be passionate about something. And it's very, do you know my friend is called Harry Berryfin, you know, Tom Sawyer. And Tom Sawyer, I like that book, even though I'm not a literature person. You know, he was asked, he was such a bad boy, he was punished to paint a wall. And he went about it with his brush, laughing, ha, wonderful. All the schoolboys, when they are passing, he said, Tom, can we also paint a little bit? The way he was excited about it. As a result, you know what? You have to pay him for him to allow you to paint some. So he'll get you an apple, then you paint some. He says, finished. You are not going to paint anymore. You are a ruler. When he finished, the whole wall had been painted by everybody, and he had a sack full of goodies going home. Many people, I mean, it even bothers me when I don't see Christians excited about the things of God. But in business, if you are not excited, and how do you get your excitement? Look for things that makes you happy. There's only one thing that makes me to be married to the best woman God made. My wife comes from his place. Wonderful. And I'm so excited about marriage that if I didn't have a job, just sharing my joy of my marriage and the books I've written, I have sufficient. In fact, I have about 500,000 CDs worth of books in my garage about marriage. And the more I get excited about it, the more people pay. So you enjoy it, yes. And also things that annoys you. Many people, if you be passionate about things that annoys you, to find a solution. You know why Ghana Christian was set up? Because my daughters, the first one, top pediatrician now, and the second one, probably the leading science teacher in Australia. One went to SOS, one went to GIS. And when they finished, I was with the UN. They said that, Dad, these are the best schools you can give us education-wise. And it was good. My daughter one was the first person in Ghana to get IB 40, and the second one at GIS did 10 O levels, 8 A's, a B, and a C. 10 O levels, yeah, try. We could try 4, because Second World War. Well, no. But they said that if we were not Christians, you would have lost us. I was in the UN, my wife and I said that when we come to Ghana, we will set up a school which is as good as SOS and GIS, but which is Christian. That's what we have achieved. And by God's grace, it's the only school that doesn't have to advertise for students. We don't advertise. We get food only by word of mouth. That's all. Word of mouth. 1,000 students board us. And they are in the bush in Dodowa. And people, when we are going there, the road you go through between Dodowa and Afiena, but they are full. So something you must, that's how you develop the mindset, following through something that makes you angry. You follow your dreams. Let me go on. Then you must associate with business people mindset. Listen, I'm sure if you associate those you have been getting far away from Shaba and Trinbois. Today it has made a difference. Once you associate with business people, successful people, you catch it. And that's why I wanted them to see whether what I've put there is. And in doing so, you get motivated. They become your mentors. You network. You know that Shaba can actually give some businesses not less than 100 if people are being faithful, trustworthy. Because everything he's doing here, if you become his representative in Asante Bekwai, it's a business. You soon become a billionaire. Then you go to another where, Swedro. In other words, you can, and if you associate with them, Charlie, you become there. If you want to become, you see, when people told him that, O level is not, if you want to be, if he stayed at his O level, he wouldn't be going where he went. And he associated with people, and then immediately he was motivated to go on because he was rich enough, he didn't need it. And he became a teacher of his professors. There are two things, if you want to have a business mindset, you must change your mind about risk and failure. Business comes with risk, and there's no certainty, but once you are prepared to take a bold step, and that comes with the possibility of failure, but failure is another way of learning, and you rise again. In fact, it is known that 80% of all business startups fail in 1 or 2 years. And those who succeed will have tried about 5 times, but they keep on going. And it's therefore important for us to be on that. One of the things, let me make it very, I must be careful because my software is here. You may not give me communion tomorrow. Tomorrow is not communion day. At least I have 2 weeks to repent. Most people, Ghanaians, don't think. They don't think. They follow. This guy is doing something he wants to do. Other things. No. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you must start thinking. A business plan is thinking through your idea. And the average, you must learn to think through. You don't just jump into an idea without thinking through. And it's so important that you should. And you can never be a businessman or woman if you don't learn to work with people. You need bankers, you need customers, they are clients and employees, and you have heard so much about it. You have to learn to work with people. You cannot be a business person not liking people. You have to change your mind about it. I employ, don't worry about it. Don't just make it lower. But I don't want to put it up for years, and then you don't hear it. He's struggling with my phone. I employ, me and my wife with the business. It's not for profit, but we are the founders. So employed the last month in August 275 people, and the salary every month plus deductions and other things is million CDs plus. But you know, I realized that it is not enough to pay them. You must be interested in them. So that now our youngest child is the executive director, but above him is a godson, Dr. Mensah's son. He's the CEO. They take care of it. Now, totally, me, I've passed yours. Now they take total. But I said that they shouldn't remove the CEO's title from me. Do you know why? You think I need the title? Because they have to pay me. But now what I do in the school is not going to manage a school or anything else. Every Thursday I go and spend 2 hours there. It's just mentoring the teachers. They are the members of my millionaires club, helping them in their family and everything. So while even I stopped in the business, as for the people, I should. And I think that I've made many mistakes with them in the past. I'm trying to make amends before I die. But, yeah. So that's what we are. You must learn to work with people and synergize with them. They were talking about no money and everything else. One of the richest people in this country is Kenneth Oriata. Don't believe anything you hear about his corruption. It's not true. The man has, 4 years before he joined politics, he told me, God wants me to be in politics. And therefore, he resigned from every business of his. He does not even serve as a board member on Total. And later on, he said something to me, it blew my mind. No Ghanaian has ever said that. He said, Stephen, God has blessed me before he became so much money, I don't know what to do with it. Because he was a big shareholder in Enterprise. And some Americans came and bought a share. I don't know the amount. But they paid him, I think, hundreds of millions of cedis. And he said that the reason why I'm keeping all this money in Ghana is that as a Minister of Finance, if I transfer it overseas, they think that I'm stealing Ghana's money. I think that they have had some policy challenges and mistakes. But he is a Christian, and you should pray for him that God will use him to have his glory. But it's so important. One of the things which the entrepreneurial mindset is also, it borders pride, but it's not pride, it's believing in yourself. That you can do it. If you don't believe in yourself, I think that is you or Professor Ebua. Nobody will trust you if you yourself don't believe in it. So you have to believe in yourself. Last but one. Entrepreneurs have what we call growth mindset, not static. The static one is I have arrived. I'm a millionaire. Now, when I come, do you know me type of? No. They are always growing. This man, he said he's retired. I'll be surprised if within the next 2 years, he hasn't started another business. In fact, he has started one. Did you catch him? You catch him that he has started another business. Which one was that? Yes. Oh, he has been in politics for long. You see his stomach. It's a political stomach. Consultancy. No, politics has been there. He goes in and out. Yeah. So there's a growth. You must be learning always. Not another degree, but you keep on expanding the frontiers, new knowledge, everything else. And the last one, for Christians, one is the fact that faith in God, that God is not limited. There's still room. You can trust him. He created us to be productive, multiply. He says that I'm the one who gives you the power to create wealth. And wealth means, wealth is not income. And there's a big difference with an employee mindset and an entrepreneur mindset. The employee is he wants somebody to employ them, salary increase, sometimes unfortunately envious of their bosses. The Ghanaian typical employee is a thief, and he wants, because the thievery comes in many ways. If you put in less than you are paid, you are a thief. No. So many people, you have to change from an entrepreneurial mindset to be the creator, the employer of others, bringing into being things which are not in being. Let me conclude by saying that successful entrepreneurs are always, they want to do things better. It's very cheaper, or if not cheaper, of greater value. If you want to do things faster, normally three things will always give you money: cheaper, faster, and better. If you have that mindset, the sky is the limit. Thank you very much, our entrepreneurs, for coming to Ginger Rest. I hope that the people here will go with an entrepreneurial mindset. I thank you.
Ooh. Wow. Now it is time for questions, but I think the Professor Emeritus deserves a better clap.
Oh.
Okay, so we'll take a few questions. Then after that, there is a session, a plenary session, where you can ask the general questions. Should be directly linked to what Prof said. So.
But remember, the plenary session is going to be short if it's going to be the two of us, because some of us have to rejoice with those who are rejoicing and cry with those who are crying. Okay. I have even my funeral cloth in the car. Okay. When I finish, I'll roll this one to be a short, and then I change the shirt and then go. That's why I have a black shoe.
Okay, so we'll do it snappy. At least let's get Prof for these questions, and then the plenary one can be a kind of learning and sharing session. Yes. So we can learn from each other. Yes. So
yes.
Hi, my name is Albert Amanse, and I have a question based on what you said about separating yourself from your business. So assuming you have a home-based business, how do you separate yourself from your business? Because in terms of, say, things like electricity.
Okay, that's simple. Separating yourself, of course, you are doing the business, so you cannot be outside it. We are saying that you must always be on salary and let the business. Fortunately, what Shaba didn't say is this. That's why he's pay himself salary. When profit is declared and he has paid dividend, all the money is his. So the separation doesn't mean it's the business, you are an employee. That's the difference between a social entrepreneur and him. In my case, after my salary, everything belongs to Ghana Christian. But if you're a good business person, all the profit is yours. But on a day-to-day basis. In other words, you are on salary, you don't dip your hand in the money, you sign the same check, everything you follow the same. Okay, that's what we mean by separation. Yes, another. Yes. Yes, all of them, you have to decide and separate them. For example, you sit down. My office is in my house for Ghana Christian, because at my age, to travel to Dodowa Afienya Road, it means 2 hours to go every day, 2 hours to come. And they don't need me more than 30 minutes. So in the office, at home, the school has my personal assistant there. The chauffeur is paid by the school. But we have decided, in our case, that we will take care of electricity, everything else. But the school's work people will maintain my house in terms of, so they are, and even that they don't come and pay for it. The school has got all the artisans, electricians, and other things. So when there's something, they come and, so you have to decide if it is going to be 50%. In my case, if I wanted to separate it, it's quite easy because the office is in the boys' quarters, in which the assistants and other things work there. I like to work from my veranda, so that's my office. So you have to decide what proportion and must be clear with it. And at every point, there must be a separation between the electricity, if it is 20% for the work, and you use 80%, but that must be clear and documented. And when the tax man comes, you can say, this is it.
Okay, so the next question? Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prof, for that great presentation. I wanted to find out, in deciding to go into entrepreneurship.
Eating. While they are eating, I can talk. And then when I finish, so I run away. So I can answer more.
In deciding to go into entrepreneurship, why did you go for social and not maybe innovative or research entrepreneurship?
Okay.
And I wanted the basis for my question is, yes. I know you have served on the board of GRA, and you have a lot of information on tax.
I still serve on 11 boards, none of them government.
Yeah, I'm talking with respect to GRA.
Yes. So,
GRA, Ghana Revenue Authority.
Yes.
Yes. So I'm asking this question because I want to know whether it was because of getting tax benefits or for other benefits. That was why you went for social entrepreneurship. And
No, not at all. Not at all. First of all, you must always listen to God. When I was a young man, at the age of 23, in my final year in Legon, I think the Lord spoke to me that during my working life, I shouldn't go to business. So that's the first thing. So I'm now have the freedom to go into business, but so I was clear about it. He wanted me to serve in the public sector, and he has blessed me from Ghana Public Sector Advisor to the Commonwealth, the UN, became UN Ambassador, became the Rector of GIMPA, and I think that I was clear what God wanted me to do. The social enterprise was because we went to education as ministry. We went to education as ministry. For example, the one in my village, we spent about 3 million cedis on them. Do you know how much they contribute a year? 512,000 the last time we checked. So that cannot be a normal business. But we take here, we tithe here, and we look at them. So that is. However, I have other businesses since as my hobby. One is a concrete making one, and hopefully, Shaba, we have to talk about it because I need a big partner so that bigger than you, but you will come in as an intermediate. And the Lord has opened a way whereby me and two friends have acquired the most prime land on the Equapim Hills of 200 acres. Almost all the land behind Mampong, the hospital. And it has the potential of being a multi-billion new estate. So we are doing all the documentation and other things, but that one. So yes, hitherto we have gone family life as a social, as a ministry. I am in the education as ministry and other things. But I have other business ones, but that is post-retirement.
More question?
You have another one?
Okay. All right.
You can stand by the podium. We just want to bring the table.
Okay. Oh, yeah. They said that I should get away so that they.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof.
Yes.
On the separation of the business from the owner.
Yes.
I have an experience in that, and my own experience was that for a year I was paying myself on paper, but it was always invested into the company because I had a taxi that I was living on, and at the end of the year I had a lot of money to even invest in the company, as an additional investment. So
yes,
that separation is very important.
Yes. Okay. That's very good. But the discipline is such that you should not trifle with. And it is totally un-Ghanaian, the average Ghanaian. I'm having a trouble with my own extended family, both in Kwawu, that's my wife comes from Kwawu, and my village, because they think that the school, the vehicle, we need a vehicle for a funeral, and then for them to be told that the school vehicle cannot be used for the death of my nephew. You can't use it. However, for example, the village, we have 5 buses because we bring them to the day school. We have a saloon and a pickup. If there is an emergency in the village, irrespective of whether it's a family member has to be rushed to the hospital, they can call on them. But my family cannot use it as, and those type of things. The separation, and it's taking them a long time to understand better. But if God blesses you, now let me hear, you must take care of your extended family. For example, my wife and I had some property. We had 200,000, and the Lord told us that 200,000, 100,000 we use it in buying some preference share, which gives 21,000 a year for my extended family in there, and also 100,000 invested. The return goes to them, so we have responsibility. The Bible says that if anyone has family members in need and they don't take care of them, they are worse than unbelievers. 1 Timothy 5:8. But even then, I've separated them. So we call it an endowment fund for my extended family. Again, the school in Shiromwasi, we told the board and they have agreed. Every year, 2 people from Kwawu PPRC get free scholarship to come to Shiromwasi. They don't pay a peso. It's boarding. And then, since they are boarding, they are expensive. In Shiromwasi and the 12 surrounding areas, including my family members, they have 10 full scholarships to go there. So, but we must separate them. And my family members know that if they qualify for scholarship, they get it. But after that, they can't go and get food there. My niece was working there. He had a bowl full of onions without permission, fired at once. Fired at once. Because the rule is that you cannot take even a tomato from the school. They are learning small, separate. Yes.
Right. So, okay, so that will be the last question, and then we'll move on to the next session.
Okay, and please, my name is Betty, and we have spoken about, material stuff. I just want to ask about intellectual property. Like, for instance, you write a screenplay, nobody wants to pay for it. Like, they want to use the story, but they don't want to pay for it. Like, they can ask, and then when you write for them, once they read, they get the idea, they use it for themselves, they never want to pay for it. How do you manage that?
Well, fortunately, when you start and you are not known, probably you may have to do that and use the, but you should insist that people should acknowledge it, so that, but eventually you must start copywriting your ideas. For example, in a month's time or so, my wife and I have written, you won't believe it, 9 books for KG and primary 1. Because God showed us how to teach 5 and 6 year olds to be totally literate within 2 to 6 months. And we used it for our children, and we forgot it. And once your children grow up, you are thinking about paying school fees rather than. But my grandchildren came, and the first one was 5 years. He comes, Grandpa, read to me. I says, I shouldn't be reading to a 5-year-old. So we went to the old method. Within 1 month, totally literate. The second granddaughter, 4.5 years, totally literate. And when I say literate, it means literate. They can read any university book, except that they may not understand the physics, but they can totally literate. So now, like the Samaritan lepers, we said now we know our sins. So we have asked God to forgive us. We have written 9 books, and with cards, and we'll be launching it soon. So, and hopefully it will be made public so that every child, and what the wonder of it is that every one of you here can teach a child to read, whether you're a teacher or not, because it requires only a maximum of 5 seconds a day. And within 3 months, the child is totally literate. So we are working on that one. But we have registered, that's what I'm coming to, a name for it. It's called Papa and Nana series. Because my grandchildren call me Papa and they call their grandmother Nana. So it will be a Lego like the ladybird. So the little ones, you may use it in order to get popularity. But very soon, start always registering, patenting your intellectual property. And if you don't, other people will take your ideas and then run away with it. Thank you very much. I think that I will leave you because I must be at the Holy Spirit Cathedral, white, to attend some funeral. And when I finish, change to black cloth to go and see Hakmai Usi Ajiman, who has lost the wife, very dear sister of ours. And then also go home. I'm a main caregiver. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So what we're going to do is, let me get this out of the way. So we have 2 books from Prof here already. I'd just like to show you. This is Investment and Self-Employment, Ideas for Almost Everyone in Ghana. And it's going for 40 cedis. The author is here, so you can actually have the possibility of having him autograph it for you personally before you leave here. And then also we have the World Creation Ideas for the very poor and the not so poor. 101 ways to find the money and to save and invest. That's also for 50 cedis. You can have an autograph. And he'll be leaving soon. So when he's about leaving, make sure you've already grabbed your copy at the information desk and have it autographed. But you can see that we've reoriented the room. What we're going to do is a quick plenary session. And in this case, I want you to now put on a lot more of your non-PIWC, non-church eyes. No, don't use those lenses again, because to the very extreme left on the panel is a man who, by himself, has been a chartered accountant and he's had those experiences from a long time ago in Sandvik and other mining companies. So if you didn't know that about our resident pastor, like I said, don't look at it from resident pastor side. Just look at it as a man who is well vested in accounting. Please put your hands together and welcome him. And then another person who's also joined the panel is Mr. Jim Amega, who also has a lot of financial background and also operates in very key sectors. Whilst we're going on, you'd see that really he's in the air. Put your hands together and welcome him. So at this stage, I'm going to take my seat as well. And whilst at the seat, we're going to make this a little bit more interactive. So I'll take on the mic to... I'll leave it here, and then we'll opening. Okay, so we'll just do this quite briefly. Please let me have the other mic so that we move it forward. Jim, so you've had all the presentations. I think one thing that is always very key and interesting is the fact that there is not a lot of talk and conversation about foreign businesses that are in Ghana or how people can even collaborate with different partners. If you can expand a bit on that aspect, I think that would be very interesting, just so people don't necessarily always focus on the local, but also have those interactions also going.
Thank you very much. My name is Jim Amega. I'm the CEO of IBAN Capital. IBAN Capital, we are into technology. We provide solutions for banks and other government entities across Africa. We have presence in Ghana, Nigeria, and Liberia. Talking about the collaboration is very, very important in business today. You know, we are in a global village. And as much as you want to do business, you need partners that you have to work with. And also we talk about diversification of business. To diversify your business doesn't mean that you have to limit yourself only to Ghana. Let's look at the sub-region, for instance, or the sub-Saharan Africa. There are services you can provide right here in Ghana, be consumed across the region, which can make a lot of money for you. For instance, there are businesses that rely purely on CD, but if you do business outside, they tend to pay you in foreign currency, and that sustains your flows, your foreign exchange. They can use that to pay your suppliers outside. So it is important we collaborate more, especially across the region. The business that we do, majority of our partners, you see them in Shanghai, South Africa, and maybe Morocco and other places. But those services that they put together, we're not selling it to only Ghanaians. It's being sold across Africa. So today I'm telling you that we have business in Liberia. But I've not set my foot in Liberia, but we have business running there. It's maybe in October, then I'll catch up with them. But we communicate daily. Business is ongoing. Same applies to Nigeria. So you see, collaboration is very, very important, and leveraging technology to do your business is also important. It's a major tool now for you to be able to drive your business or lower your cost and also manage your risk. In terms of when COVID struck, we had to rely on them. You know, it was across board, but that was an opportunity time for us to also come out to support. So we were constantly making use of the collaborations that we have across those regions to be able to sustain the business and also move on. So I think.
Right. With that said, I also want to touch a bit more on the African Continental Free Trade Area. That's a big subject that's happening. So what we can do is you can speak to it a bit, Prof can speak to it a bit, and Shaba can also speak to it a bit, and then we can close this round.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I think in terms of the African Continental Free Trade, it's an opportune time for Africa. If you look globally, Africa has been marginalized for a long time, all because of our own mindset. The various speakers spoke about developing a mindset. So when we started our business, I always call myself an African child. So whatever we do, we don't do it just for Ghana. We make sure that it's something that we can take across the African region. So as I speak to you now, we are in 3 countries. By the grace of God, by next year, we'll be in 33 African countries with our products. That's the difference. How are we doing that? We're leveraging partnership to be able to do that. Like I said, collaboration is very, very important. You can't do it all alone. And the African Continental Free Trade Agreement provides an opportunity for businesses to be able to trade across Africa and make sure that, because in Africa, we don't trade among ourselves. If you take US, for instance, the trade in between the US and South America is very high. Also, they trade among themselves a lot more. If you go to Europe, Europe trade among themselves almost about close to 50%. But here in Africa, the trajectory is we're not even trading up to 10%, not even 6%. The question is why? Because of the mindset or language. You know, so for instance, if you want to do business in maybe Cote d'Ivoire, maybe you can't speak French, but you have a partner in Cote d'Ivoire that can represent you to do your business, you pay them, your business will go on. And if it's language, you should be able to learn or hire somebody who can speak or interpret for you, and you'll be able to do business in those areas. So if you take the Africa region, that's not happening. And it's a blot on the continent. That's why we have the youthful population that do not have jobs, because one, we are not trading a lot more among ourselves to be able to give people job opportunities. Two, we are not leveraging the capital base, because once you are not doing enough trade, the banks themselves will not be able to support you enough, because they will take their money and maybe go and put it into treasury bill. But if you bring the business idea and it's laudable enough, they are forced to support you, they are forced to invest in you and make sure your business thrives. So then you can also employ somebody. So we need to take the African Continental Free Trade Agreement very, very seriously. It has to be part of our strategic plan as businesses. Otherwise, you'll be operating within your own circles, which will not take you far. And also the other element I would like to touch on has to do with how we can leverage technology to be able to do that. That's an area we are big in. That's what we are providing. And along the line, I'll be taking you through some of the steps we can take through the business guilds, because I'm the district secretary. So I have taken it upon myself to make sure that all the guilds under us are put on the digital infrastructure to ensure that businesses that are within the church, we are all put onto that platform. You should be able to trade across. Even if it's Europe you want to do, you should be able to do it. There's no challenge anymore, and I think we need to believe in ourselves and get that done. Thank you.
And I think that creating the platform is very important. For example, I didn't know that Professor Chinoboa is in computers. We just bought about 500 Chromebooks. Yes. And if I knew, he would have gotten 500 computers. Do you know how long it would take? Madam, where is Madam Chinoboa? Is this here? Yes. How long it would take to sell 500 computers? And every year, Ghana Christian International High School buy between 400 and 500. Because in our school, every child must have a Chromebook, which is a specialized computer for other things. Again, so there will be many, many, many other things that if it's on the platform, if you want an electrician, you want somebody who is in the church, because now people coming to your house is not safe. If you want a plumber and other things, and when I was a chairman of a church in New Jersey, we had that one. So you always had access to that. So I'll only say only one thing, because he is more African in the business than me. When you go international, and Africa, once you cross, you are international. Remember, you can't do the Ghanaian things of wanting big margins. You can only go international when you are efficient on cost and quality and certain business standards. You have to deliver things on time. So when you go international, you must remember you cannot do the usual Ghanaian business. Go and come. this is the time to deliver, you deliver it. And oftentimes in international business, there are small margins, but if you get plenty of them, yes. I always tell people that, do you know how much it takes to be a dollar millionaire? It's only $1 million, $1 times. So it's a matter of just getting $1 million, $1. Don't worry about making me millionaire. Just give me one CD at a time, and make sure over a short time you give me 1 million times. So international trade is has certain standards, but let me tell you, I'm a professor of international trade and finance, but 53 years ago I did, so don't ask me for details.
Thank you very much. African trade, I think, is the way forward for us as a nation to develop or to grow. Because if we are talking about the numbers, we are just about 30 million in Ghana. But for us to do any meaningful business, we need the numbers. Fortunately, we have almost about 350 within the sub-region. That is West Africa, ECOWAS. But for you to be able to take advantage of that, there are three things. Prof mentioned about two. The quality of goods, the quantity, and the right price. If you want to compete, you have to come out with the right quality. Quality talks about packaging, the quality of the product itself. So if your packaging is wrong, it will not be accepted. Then the right price is try to get a price that will be accepted internationally. Because we are in competition. Prices are coming from China and other places. So you need to get a price that is acceptable and that will be competitive for your customers. Then the third thing is that the volumes. Some people ask some companies in Ghana to supply charcoal briquette. There was a need of charcoal briquette in Israel, Germany, and other places. The person did one container. It took them about 5 months to get another container. That is not what we are doing in the international market. So you should be able to get the right quantities at the right time. So if it is not something you can do alone, that is the need of collaboration. 3, 4 companies can come together, set up the quality standards, and come together and be able to supply and take advantage of those markets. I think we can get it done here. Because if you look at Ghana, we are well positioned. Ghana is at the center of the world. So the shortest place to any other destination is from Ghana. And as such, if Ghana takes its right position and do the right things, we'll be able to take advantage and make wealth for our people. So it's not too bad. Let's try as much as possible to do our best, come together and form synergies and find a way to be able to produce at the right price, right quality, and the right quantity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for those submissions, and we thank Prof for his contributions, and as you realize, he's had to leave us now. Please put your hands together for Prof. Thank you. Yes. I was going to say CA Tony Mensah. You've worked with a lot of multinationals, as it were, and you know that the whole issue of bookkeeping and that space is very critical. If you can please speak to that subject matter a bit more too, and international work.
Yeah, thank you very much. Praise the Lord. You see, as a pastor, I want to begin by that, to create the atmosphere. Yeah, we want to thank all our speakers, from the Professor Emeritus, Professor TK, and our Honorable Shaba. It's important that whatever we do as business people, we don't also forget about the rules of engagement. I wanted to speak to one of the things our sister raised about trying to bring a separation between you and your business. It's important because if you want to build a good business, there must always be that separation, because the law sees a business to be a different person. and you, the individual or the owner, too, as a different person. And the law has canonized that into our tax regimes, such that all tax regimes really recognize that the business is a separate legal body, distinct from the owners. Yeah, so whatever you do, there must be that separation. And it's also important because if you don't have that separation, you'll be doing the business and be making losses, and you think that the business is not doing well. But when that separation is clear, and one of them will say, business now, you know, and you're bad, sir. Yeah, but I don't know what I'm supposed to speak to what. Yeah. All our speakers in this section have spoken to the need for us to leverage each other, what we do, and create synergies for ourselves. But it is important that we are guided by trust. We should be able to trust each other. And then you yourself should be able to be trustworthy. I find that as Christians, you know, because in the past, somebody has failed you. He took your goods. So at the end of the day, you don't want to deal with anyone again. In PRWC Atomic, we are big business people, but we don't even know ourselves. Can you even imagine that Professor Emeritus had no idea that Professor TK is the CEO of Nest Computers? And Nest Computers has been in Ghana for years, but he doesn't know. But we hear of Nest Computers on the TV. Sunday special service by the chairman is sponsored by Nest Computers. Professor Stephen Adai had no idea. Into that tells you that we have a problem. We have a problem. And I'm even sure that some of you don't even know that our brother owns multinational company. We don't even know. And it's all because we don't trust ourselves. So we rather go and deal with people who are not Christians. We prefer to deal with Muslims rather than dealing with ourselves. But you see, trust is a currency. It's a currency that you can use even though you cannot invest it. But it is a currency that will make you to do good business. So we have to create that atmosphere. I was said, Obi etumi ejiwodi. Professor Stephen Adai cited an example that you can deal with Shaba. Shaba is big. He's a national man, international man. So you can even be his representative in your hometown and then be making huge profits. The Bible says in Amos 3:3 that how can two people work together unless they agree? I want to suggest to you that for us to be able to leverage each other's capabilities and intellectual abilities and for us to create synergies among ourselves, there is a need for us, for one person to be trustworthy and let people trust you. I am a professional accountant, and in accounting, in ICA, I'm a member of ICA. One of our tenets is integrity and objectivity. The accountant will have to be somebody who is objective and full of integras at any given point in time. You have to be fair. So let's try to be people of integrity. You see, trust is based on integrity. So let us try as Christians, because I believe that the reason why Vision 2023 created this business guild is for us to learn some of these tenets so that we can do business and hold ourselves together. I think that in PRWC Atomic, the capacity we have, we should be able to do business among ourselves. If these 500 computers went to net computers, Sanka, mega often compound. Now, as I sit here, I need 5 million Ghana cedis. 5 million to finish the compound and to change all our equipment in the main auditorium. Get a first-class equipment. We need about 5 million. Hallelujah. Media no so sawa adwumu no nia make we say my yard for an abem. My yard abem. I was saying me di bem. Nti wo dream business na wo say dream for no. Hallelujah. Yeah, so it's important, but we just came from All Ministers Conference in Ghana. One of the things we learn as pastors is that most Christians, we have believed in the gospel, but we have not repented. How many of you believe that is true? What I'm saying is true. We have believed. It's a different thing to believe, and it's another thing to repent. Your repentance is based on what you have believed. But people have believed, they have not completed the process on Sakrai. Or they are sorry them. And you only be a business, or Giskana, then that is all. According to your manner, that is all. And I know that some of you have countless examples of what I'm saying. So, to add to what our business people have said, no, let's trust, let people trust you. Let people trust you. One person said that if we don't trust one another, we are already defeated. If we don't trust one another, we are already defeated. And somebody also have said that the glue that holds business relationship together is trust. And that trust is based on integrity. It holds businesses together. So trust is a currency. You can do business with trust without money, with trust. So let your trust be your currency. Use it to do business. Amen.
Amen. Okay. So now I'm going to rise a bit because I'll come to the audience for your questions, as we indicated, and also sharing of your experiences. So comments, contributions are welcome at this stage. And please introduce yourself, introduce your business, introduce the sector you're in so that everybody gets to know. I'll start here with the hand that was up.
All right, my name is Kerry Tete. My name is Kerry Tete. I wear multiple hats. I am into artificial intelligence and also a consultant as well in software development. I just wanted to add something to, or just give a typical example, a practical example of the trust, which is the currency in business that has been talked about all the time. Now, I've done all manner of consultations for smaller businesses, medium businesses, big ones, and even World Bank contracts, and all of them don't require the same terms. But let me start with, say, I want to do something for a big company. Now, if you and I, for instance, or 2-3 men in tattered clothes, walk to Movenpick, the restaurant Movenpick or Kempinski, and they begin to order food, no one would ask them pay cash on the nail before we give you the food. You know, because they trust that you are going to pay. So they give you the food, just eat. Oh, give us another glass of that, and they give you, oh, another cup of this, and they give you another whatever, and they give you. They give you all that, you eat your fill, and when you are just about out, then what is the bill? They give you the bill, and then you pay. And it works everywhere. The only reason why they may ask you to do cash on the nail before they serve you anything is when you have abused that particular trust. And we as consultants, it works for us in so many ways. So say that I work for EcoBank, for instance, they ask me to do something for them. And I tell them, give me about 60% or 20% or 30% of the cost of doing this particular thing. And they are going to give it to me with the trust and the hope that I am going to deliver. And say that I didn't have any capital to start with at all. I'm going to be using that as a seed capital to start everything that I wanted to do. So I just wanted to bring home the fact that the trust that we are talking about works everywhere. And even in, and you leverage on that particular trust to get anything that you won't do. Now, the other part is that it looks like I'm talking too much, but I just want to cut it. Yes, the other part is that if you want to work for multiple countries or so many other countries, then you got to understand the dynamics of that particular country where you want to be. Say that you want to work for the Francophones. I've had a challenge there because I went there with a certain plan that I want to adhere to, not knowing the Francophones are the people who enjoy their lunch break very well. And so then within the hours of about 1 or 2 o'clock, they can close, go home, shut all their offices, and then they come back. You need to understand that kind of dynamism and the way they relate to one another. Otherwise, then with the same Ghanaian mentality, it may not fly out anywhere else that they wanted to go. Thank you all very much indeed.
Thank you very much. Any hand here again? You have a hand there? Okay, let me take this. I'll come back.
Okay, thank you. My name is Victor Usu. Hello, Jim. Okay, my name is Victor Usu. We are into micro lending. We are into lending. Bank of Ghana has added micro to the lending for us. So we are into lending. And I want to thank you for the organization of the program. Many years ago, I think around 2000 or 99, I was a very young Christian, and that was probably my first encounter with Elder Honorable, because he had come to a small evangelism meeting, and we were supposed to learn personal evangelism. And then he shared his story as to how he got into business and how it has impacted lives. And I think that was when I also entertained the spirit of business. So I want, and then we started. So I visited him at Newtown. I visited him on the highway N1. What's the name? Cocoa Beach. I visited you there. World Trade Center. I've been there. So I've not really associated myself in a way that, though I have not gone for material support per se, but sometimes there are 1 or 2 that I went with request, but his advice and counsel actually led me to gain grounds. I remember one time when I had a capital of about $10,000, and then he was sharing with me if I was able to push it up to about 50, he could connect me to some people. And then I come back and I want to, move to the next level. So the way of finding people that can mentor you, they may not necessarily put anything in your operation, but their conversation with you will give you an idea as to how to drive what you are doing. They may not be doing what you are doing, but they may have what it takes to push you to excel in whatever area you are in. So let's try also to connect. I know I go to Jim, his office, to clock. So much security. So much security. Yes. But so I want to admonish all of us to find mentors as we see ourselves, try and build relationship and association with people, and I think it will do a lot of good in your own. Wonderful. Thank you very much, man.
Thank you.
Okay. So please, mine is a question. Yes, the main question is how to get money into your business. So as we were doing the conference, a lot of speakers have told us that we should start small. So I do liquid detergent. I started with 30 cedis, and now let's say I have earned a little. But going forward, the need to, how would I say, to register the company came to my face. Let me put it like that. And then the amount was approximately 1,500. I was stuck, so leave it there. Then yesterday I was in the conference, and then they were talking about this intellectual property. And then the speaker was, if you want to register, you would need to spend like $200. And then he went on and on and on. So I kept asking myself, how do I get money even to register the business and then even to do a copyright on the business that I'm doing. Thank
you. Yeah, thank you very much for the question. In terms of access to capital, I think there are various ways we can do that. One, once you've registered you've not registered your business, so it is more like you as an individual is the one running the business. The question is like sole proprietor. So I don't think for a sole proprietor it will cost $1,500. You can check, but whatever the case, if you are a sole proprietor, how are you running that business? Have you documented it for somebody to say that, okay, you run this business for the past 6 months. This is how much money you put in. This is how much you are getting every month or every quarter. Then if you ask for support, it will be based on the information you provide that somebody will look at and give you that kind of support. Okay, so I think that the challenge for most micro businesses are that they don't keep records. Everything is in their head. So now you need to find somebody who will trust you enough as to what is in your head to give you that kind of money or money to do. So I think for things like that, you have to leverage family relationships. You know, you need to leverage family relationships to be able to get that kind of support to keep the business going. Because once it's a profitable venture and you get excess money or investment or working capital to put in, it means you're going to make a lot more because you have some learnings that you've learned for maybe the past 6 to 1 year. So whatever you put in, you know that you'll be able to grow that. The other element I want to advise, and I'll come to that maybe in my closing remarks, will be you need to join associations. If, for instance, if you don't have, your family will not support you, but you find associations that are into similar business. So they have those associations. Join them. Once you start making your contributions, those associations also do give micro loans to their members. It's something that we have not leveraged enough in our part of the world. It's something that can work because once you put yourself into those groups, the groups become a check on you. It de-risks your operations. So any financial support you may need, the group becomes the cell around which your business or growth will be revolving. So they can actually vouch for you to support your operations. Even for banks, that's one thing we are encouraging going forward. Instead of dealing with individuals, we want to deal with groups and associations so that the associations will now become a check on you. And because you have to be somebody in good standing. Because if I don't trust you, you don't have a good character, you are not even attending meetings, the group executive, they will not vouch for you for you to get access to finance. So there's one element you also have to look at. That's the more reason we want to encourage most businesses within the church to join the business guilds so that at least we have a record in terms of one, what industry are you in? So that if there is any support we can give, we should be able to do that. The church is an economy on its own. If you don't know, we have everything within the church. But because we are not leveraging our potentials, we keep moving around. If it's about money, we should be able to put those things together to support business. If we know that the businesses have needs, we've done those need assessment. But if you are not coming for meetings, you are not joining the business guilds, how will we know that we have somebody who is into soap making that we can actually support? To be very honest with you, the business that I do, we provide support for micro, small businesses. And guess what happened? I went to presiding elder. Presiding elder told me that, oh, you need to talk to Honorable. That time, I've been seeing him in church, and, you know, we've never had any interaction. So quickly, he held my hand and put me into his hands that you can support your brother. So our first major contract was because of his connection, because he took me to those who can support. That's how we have become friends now. It's not that I just don't see him as a brother. Yes, we did well. The point is we make sure that we execute. And And what we did, it's a major breakthrough story. Maybe it will come later on, maybe a testimony. But it was through him that that business opportunity came. And we also seized that opportunity. You know, there were challenges along the way, but I see we trusted God. And at the end of it all, today, we are being celebrated, not all because we have delivered beyond their own imagination. Things that they were not expecting that we could do, we've been able to do with them. And he had been a strong pillar and a father figure. And I think it's important we leverage those relationships. Thank you.
Right, so there's a question here. Thank you very much.
Before my brother asks the question, is it Business Guild? Yeah. This is the first time I'm coming in touch with Business Guild. I think it's high time the leadership think of how best we can raise money to support our people. We shouldn't sit down. In my presentation, I said I'm still in Pentecost because I was supported by Pentecost members. Crediting meetings from A to Z. When I started the Don't Touch Me soap, I had only those 5,000 OCDs, 50% could buy the drums and salt and firewood, caustic soda, soda ash, oil, the color, the perfume were all given to me by Pentecost members. Malco for Kofi, any freeway. That is how I started. We should be able to help them to start. I'm surprised to hear that 1,005 and the leadership should be able to build a fund from today and talk to the people. You have all the people here. And let them support and find a way to bring them up. Some of these people, there are a lot of monies moving around. I was talking to my sister today that tourism, we are giving $10 million as grants to small-scale tourist operators. So why can't you find a way to help somebody to apply if you are into food? If you get $1,500, today it's about $15,000. It will help you to start your business. There are a lot of areas that we can help ourselves. So please, leadership, find a way and let's create the support. There should be a pool that we can support them and guide them to grow. And when they grow, they are in the church. They will pay their tithes here.
Oh, yes.
Offerings here. I'm still with the church, I said earlier in the morning, because I was supported by members of the church. Other than that, all the big charismatic churches, I've dealt with them. And they were, oh, there are a lot of people in Pentecost. Why don't you come here or there? Let's believe in our own and support them. And when we support them, we'll reap the results of it. Thank you.
Okay, so I would go to the next question, but let me just chip in that. Okay, all right, so you ladies speak, and then after that, he will speak.
I'm Annie. In fact, I would have missed if I hadn't been here. Thank you for organizing this.
Have you mentioned your name and what to do?
I mentioned, Pastor, I'm Annie Pome, PIWC. I'm into detergents, baking, a lot, fascinators, and others. I was thinking, I don't know if it's a suggestion or contribution. Part of the questions has been answered by my man. I was saying that for the trust to be built among us, like businesses, should form a group. If you are a baker, some group of bakers can form. If you are into detergents, group of detergents people can be formed. So that maybe you might not have everything. Somebody would, if you go on meetings on the group basis, somebody will come out that I have so and so capital. Somebody said, I will provide the chemicals. Somebody who said, oh, I will provide the land on which we will. So if you are about 5 people coming together, I think when you walk to any facility for an assistant, I mean, the person will not hesitate to help the group. And it's like everybody puts something on the table. So you know each other. If there's no trust, you know yourself. You can identify who is trying to put the business down or lifting it up. So I think as we've been doing on the various platforms, PIWC, I clap for them on that. You, even if the entire church didn't know you, somebody in the group you are will know that, because we are a very large church. A lot of people cannot know you, but in your small corner, in your small group, somebody can identify you and said, oh, you are a member of PIWC. So I've not been, so network and partnering each other is very important. Otherwise, we will be where we are and we will say business is not thriving. So I think it's a high time we begin to do these things. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So we can have your question.
Okay, my name is Jake. I'm just hoping a more light is shared on the aspect of business that deals with the confidence you need to ensure it's always high in your team in the face of a reality where certain things are just bad. You want to ensure your team is not down-spirited, but the reality, it is business. It's not you, it is business, a separate entity from you. Things got a little bad there, and it's got to you, but you have to ensure the team still hold on to the confidence. How do you blend this so that your honesty of the reality doesn't get to affect the morale or the confidence you want to ensure there is in your team? That's just a light on that, please.
Can you elaborate?
I don't get the question.
I rephrase it. Let's see.
You want me to paraphrase? Okay. Okay, so in reality, there are challenges, but you want your team to still have high confidence in your business. You want to be honest, but you don't want their morals to come down. How do you manage that? Please, the mic is there.
You see, it's attitude, attitude, attitude. Elder Prof. Pudumago just said that somebody is owing over 200,000. He knows exactly what the person is going through. He supplied to an organization and they have not paid him. So the guy cannot pay them. But because he's aware and he's in it with him, he has identified to find a way to collect the money. Somebody also will collect the things and he will not come again. Somebody collected my items. Over 3 years, he wasn't coming. Apparently, he ran away. He was playing tricks. When I pull certain strings, the wife ran to my pastor. Yes. Over 200,000. More than almost 4 years now, he hasn't paid. You see? So, but there are some people who are owing. We sometimes sympathize with them. They made wrong judgment. They went into something, the money is locked there. So you find a way to give a try, but not at that magnitude, small, to see how he can build himself up. So it depends on the way you deal with a person and you become so honest with a person. If you are honest, people will still trust you and continue to do business with you. So just be honest, and I would say be a Christian. If you are a Christian, you definitely have to be honest. So be a Christian and true to that. Then people will trust you and give you things. Thank you.
What Honorable said about the church helping people to be raised up, I want to direct the leadership of the Business Guild that put up a proposal, and let's see what we can do. Honorable is well connected. I don't think that the amount of money, the $10 million he mentioned, the church, we should let it go, Scott. We are all Ghanaians. So whatever we have to do to leverage it, the leadership of business can try to bring a proposal. Let's sit with Honorable, discuss it, and see how best we can do that. But apart from that, the church will also see if we have to create a pool of funds so that we can also be placing some money in. But we are doing it, only that we don't say it. We are doing it. There are people at the ghetto churches, Macedonia, we have raised a lot of them. Joyce is here, she can testify. The Apostle Bobby's time, they gave some money to a few people, 1,000 each. And they are doing so well. Some have multiplied the money 1,000 now. The lady has about 15,000. She's, yes, here in Macedonia. She's doing so well. And not only that, there are others that the church has really raised. But we want to now make it official. And so the leadership of Business Girl, bring a proposal. Let's discuss it with Honorable and see how we can take it up from there.
Pastor, can I add that also, because I'm in Pensos, Pensos has PENCO. That is the credit union of the Church of Pentecost. It's where people put their money together and they are able to give loans to each other. And so perhaps we could tap into that opportunity too.
All right. My name is Esther, and we are into sanitation and hygiene. My questions are two, but I'll put one of them, I'll put it in two forms. So I'm asking on collaborations and then visibility. Having a right collaboration and then making your business visible. I realized that as a business person, when we started, mostly, you know, when you start a business, they will say, oh, try and do it small, go in at a certain pace. But I also realized the area that we are in, if we should go by that approach, it also, you know, drags it. And my question is, at what point do you think of collaborating? And then talking of visibility too, do you think it is good to make it very visible at the initial stage, or it should be that kakra thing? The other thing is, if we are talking about building a lasting brand, what are some of the things that you should put in place to ensure that after some years you can look back and say that indeed you have built a lasting brand? Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone to take it?
You see, if you want to grow a business, it is like you want to brand the business in a way. People see the brand, they come in, they give you a project, you are not able to deliver. That is the end of your business. Some people project and do big marketing, but when it comes to delivery, they don't have what it takes to do that. That is why we say, grow your business. Once you grow it consistently, whatever you can do, you do it at a time and do advert or promotion accordingly. But if you want to go big like Zoom Lion and they give you a contract, you don't have the capital, you don't have the connection and the people to support you, that is the end of you. Nobody will give you a second chance. So there's always the need for you to grow your business to a certain level before you blow up. When I started Shaba, I started from my village. I came to Accra. I started the advert. And what I realized was that any radio station I will go and do advert, my competitors will come there. So the radio station will give me the advert for free because I was bringing them more businesses. So every day, Shaba was on the air. It wasn't about the personality behind it. It was about the brand. Most people didn't know Shaba until I got into politics. They knew Shaba, but they didn't know it was some small, tiny young man behind it. You see? So whilst you are growing the brand, try to make sure that you'll be able to get the needed support. Collecting money from bank is not a bad idea. But if you don't take it, the same bank will collapse your vision. It will run you down. So know when to get into it. I see some people running businesses and somebody has 2, 3 private cars. For me, it's mistakes people made. You shouldn't make that mistake. I always want to make the business strong whilst I stand behind the business. I'll prefer to put every peso I have, sometimes my own salary, when the business is in need, I give it to the business. Rather than me taking money from the business. So that gradually you can grow the business to that level. So my sister, don't try to project it to a level that you cannot manage. Let it be a gradual progression. And when you get there, you'll be able to hold or stand anything that comes your way. Have I answered the question in a way?
The second one on collaboration.
To add to what Honorable just said, that's why it is important to plan. If you plan your business very well, you know the next 5 years, this is where you want to be. Okay, you can start with, that's where they talk about the long-term vision. So if you have a long-term vision, how do you get there? You now have a growth mindset based on what you do. So you grow gradually to be able to get to your full potential. Then you start diversifying. When you see risk happening, then you diversify into other areas to make sure that you are properly grounded, or you sustain your business. Collaborations, like I said, is important. For instance, if you don't have a network, you want to do marketing yourself, but you can actually explain to what you do to those who can help you get there better. So otherwise, you're going to spend a lot more money trying to do advertisement or going around to sell your business. But if you leverage your network properly, you realize that you're able to reach your full potential quickly and cheaply. Like I'll use our company as an example. When we started, we knew very well that we want to be a Pan-African business. That's the long-term vision we had. Now the question then is, how do we get there? We realize that we have to partner with Pan-African institutions. So we build relationship with them. Is very important, and service quality of your service is also important.
Circulate the money. Let's create businesses among ourselves. Introduce your business. Let's know what you do. So that there are those that I know are those that I've mentioned. Yes. Esther is a caterer. Fantastic. We have a lot of caterers here. Beautiful meals. You can't get, I read this morning that the former Manchester United player, Patrice Evra, has said that Ghanaian jollof is better, it's nicer than Nigerian jollof. And Esther is one of them. That's a nice jollof. In fact, as for caterers, we have a lot. Esther is one. So you can let's if you are doing your wedding, if your company is doing, don't go and give the business to, if it's catering, give it to Esther, give it to Dorcas, give it to the other sisters we have here. So let's know what you do. Don't just introduce yourself and say that I do this. Let's know. So that we can get close to you and then we can do business with you. Victor gives loans. He gives loans. But when you give loan now, tuya. Don't just go and tell us, oh, I am an elder, and then I call sorry, me boka cry and yahi dabi. Me some of the bremia, me bu attenetia. So let's know what to do and then let's take it out from there.
Right, that's awesome. Jim, do you want to say something?
Yes, I think Pastor rightly said, what we wanted to do is to provide opportunity for businesses to register with the business guild, because we need to have the database of the various businesses, what you do. Because on occasions we do advertise on the platform in terms of what the people do, so we get to know you and what you do.